Hey guys, it's Ben,
And Spencer,
and welcome to.
the Hooligans Podcast.
Alright, guys, we had Spencer on before, but we're gonna have him on again. So, a little surprise guest, and we'll start off every episode like normal with a little bit of catch up. So, what's been going on with you lately, Spencer, since last episode? Anything new and exciting?
Yeah, so it was kind of, I believe last time where we were at, I was just kind of like getting through stuff. It was just kind of work and college and didn't have much else going on. I've got a bit more variety now. You and I, along with a couple other friends, went to the casino at the end of the first college semester. That was pretty awesome. The,
Yeah, we can talk about that more if you want, because
yeah,
I was
that'd
gonna
be
talk
awesome.
about it with Wyatt, but he didn't want to talk about it. So, if you want to go into that more detail about it, I'll talk about that.
Yeah, it was. So we all dressed up except for K-Man, and
You can say
what,
his
what,
name. He was on right before you,
yeah,
and we said his
yeah, I
name.
remember he was on. I don't remember what we called him, but yeah,
Yeah,
we had
I guess called him
Caden and
Caden.
Wyatt. We had
Yeah,
Caden and Wyatt, and Fenton came the second day, so he wasn't at the actual casino, which was unfortunate, but we were glad to see him anyway.
yeah.
But yeah, Caden doesn't have an ID. Even though he is 18 years old, we all dressed up with the exception of him, walked in with money in our hands, ready to lose it all,
I thought he
and
did
then
dress
we
up.
get
Did he
ID'd.
not dress
No,
up to the
oh
casino? I thought
wait,
he
did
did.
he?
I think he did. I just
He
don't think
might.
he
Oh
dressed up to
yeah,
the bowling
yes he did
alley.
because I lent him my tie. That's right. So yeah,
Yeah.
we all dressed up. It was just the bowling alley he didn't. So yeah, I lent him my green
Hmm.
tie. I went for like the early 1900s, like 1920s mafia boss look, Britain mafia boss, like Peaky Blinders shit. So it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
But we all walked in, we all looked fine, we got some pictures, and then we got ID'd. And Caden had to sit in the car, and he was totally fine with that. He wanted to play Pokemon. So I feel like I'm a pretty intelligent person,
And
unless it comes to common sense. What's that?
the funny thing is, before we even like got on the game floor, we saw some slot machines, and there was like a bunch of underage kids like
Yeah,
beside the slot machines. So we kind of assumed like it would be fine for Caden to
I
be out there and just not gambling. So.
I don't. Yeah, I felt like just on the floor it would have been fine, and I don't know if we like drew suspicion or something with how we looked or
We definitely
something,
did
like
because
or
we were
how we
just
were
standing. We were
standing.
standing outside the bathroom waiting for Wyatt to take a shit, and we looked
Yeah,
like
it
a
was
bunch of
taking its
fucking goobers just
sweet ass time.
standing.
So we got
Yeah,
ID'd, sent Kate into the car, and I feel like I'm a pretty intelligent person, but that goes for emotional and like I guess book smarts. With common
yeah,
sense, there is none. That is just completely vacant in my vocabulary. So I thought it would
yeah.
be a good idea. It was cold. It was like with the wind chill, it was like -20. It was crazy. So I thought I'd put the car in auxiliary mode and let him chill in the car in auxiliary mode so that he could have some heat. Well, he comes in after me and Wyatt are already tapped out. It's just you. You're still in the game. And he comes in and he's like, Spencer, your car's making a weird noise. I'm like, what? What is it doing? Because sometimes it makes this like shifting noise that's pretty normal and it sounds almost electronic. I always say it's like a Decepticon or something and it just hasn't woken up yet. But he comes in and he's like, I'm like, what noise? And he just starts making a ticking like tit 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 tit. I'm like, uh-oh. And I ask him where the keys are, and he said they're
Oh
still
shit,
in the
yeah.
ignition. And I'm like, you left my car with the keys in the ignition. Granted, I didn't know that it wasn't going to go anywhere, but I feel like the lack of common sense extends to him as well, because he left the keys in the ignition in a busy parking lot of the biggest casino in the state of Michigan. So that wasn't great. I got out there. Sure enough, the battery's dead. And we wait out there. We all walk out. we try and flag someone down, and luckily it doesn't take long. So a guy comes up and he starts. We try and jump start the car, and it doesn't work. He's got like this cheap battery thing, like jump starter. It's not really working for us.
You
But
got
yeah,
like a cheap battery.
so it, so it was a fail. Wyatt was the one who flagged him down, and of course -20 with the wind chill and stuff. So he gets in the car. He's like, "All right, Spencer, it's your turn to flag someone down." I go out there and I'm freezing the whole time, and nobody is around. And the only people that are either actively ignoring us, or the few people that decided to let me talk to them did not have a battery or a jump starter kit. So we were like, all
Yeah, there
right,
was that
this
one guy
sucks.
who literally just stared you in the eyes and drove by while you
Yeah,
were trying to flag him down.
direct eye contact for like 7 solid seconds, and he slowly drove off. I'm like, great. And I was
Yeah.
I was like right up at his window almost too.
Yeah, he
But
drove like really close next to you as well.
yeah.
He just like went around.
So we end up calling security. They pull up. They got a thing to jumpstart it. My car's a Ford, so it's super annoying to reach the actual battery. But we finally get it jump started. So we leave, go to a gas station, fuel up, and get some like drinks and some snacks. Like I got a Monster, and then I look at the front of my car, and one of the headlights died. I don't know if we like jump starting the car if we fried it or something, but that landed me. So that set me back a good like $70 or something. So that was pretty irritating, but I still had a lot of fun. You guys were laughing hysterically because I was crashing out, but it was like jokingly crashing out with a hint of seriousness, but it was
Yeah.
just hilarious.
Yeah, and it got even worse too. Like when we got to my house, some more
Yeah.
unfortunate news unfolded.
Oh yeah,
You
with
want to talk
Wyatt
about it
and
or
the
do you want me
dog.
to?
With Wyatt and the dog,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so second we get back, we sit down and we're just exhausted. We just had to wait in the freezing cold parking lot with no heat, no car running, flag someone down. It took like 45 minutes. The drive alone was like 30, so we were already tired. So we just sit down, breathe a sigh of relief, and then Wyatt's phone starts ringing. And he answers, and immediately his sister starts freaking out on him. And we can't,
Well,
like, it's
it
not
wasn't
on
even his
speaker at
sister at
first.
first. It was his brother who first called him, freaking
Yeah,
out.
yeah, it was. So his brother called him first, and then his sister was freaking out in the background. It turns out his dog ate a bunch of, what kind of chocolate was it? I don't even remember.
Like he had like a Toblerone, and
Yeah, it
then
was a
eventually
box
they
of
figured out
Toblerones.
they initially just thought it was a Toblerone, but then they found out it was like the whole fucking bag of candy,
Yeah, so
White's
he ate
Christmas
all that
candy.
with the like we
Yeah,
don't know
with the
for certain,
wrapper
but with
and the tin foil in
yeah,
there
the
too.
wrapper
Yeah.
and the tinfoil. So that was rough, and he was trying to say like, and I was the one who drove him and Caden to your house, so they didn't have a way back, and we're like, what is it, like 70 miles away from my house, and I live relatively close to Wyatt, and they're like demanding he gets back there right
Yeah.
now, and it's already like past midnight, and we're like, no, we're not doing that. I don't have a He doesn't have a ride. He has no way back. We're not driving an hour and 10 minutes back just to make sure, like, there's really nothing we could do. Whole time we were telling them to try and like spoon feed the dog water, force feed the dog water so it vomits, and
Yeah.
then but that only works for like a 10-minute period right after eating it, and we didn't know how long it's been. So and but they argued for so long that even if it was soon enough it wouldn't have mattered. So there was just a lot going on. Dog turned out to be okay, that was good, but it
They
was
they
just a
did end up
lot.
making him throw up though,
They
because
did.
Clyde, his brother, called the veterinarian, and they said to make Sport throw up. So they did make him throw up eventually.
Yeah, so we were right the whole time. Me and
Yeah.
Wyatt were the ones, we were like, make him throw up, like give the dog water or vinegar or something to make him throw up.
Y- Yeah.
And they were like,
Yeah, I
no.
actually had to literally literally Clyde and his sister were so focused on like yelling at Wyatt that they weren't even really doing anything for the dog. And they weren't
Yeah,
listening to us like our advice, so I literally had to call Fenton to drive over there, and I told them like, if you don't do something, this dog is gonna die because these two, they're not fucking listening. They're more focused on yelling at Wyatt than fucking taking care of the dog. Clyde's best friend Google told him like you shouldn't make a dog throw up after 30 minutes, but like literally when he called the veterinarian, they literally said just make the dog throw up. Just give him like hydrochloric, whatever that fucking shit is, that
Yeah, yeah.
stuff you put on like your wounds and like bubbles up, that kind of stuff. I don't remember what
I'm
it's called,
I'm
but
absolutely a person to oh, there's a stink bug on my laptop. Get out of here. I'm absolutely the person to listen to doctors. Like they like I will never choose Google over 8 years of education and 20 years of experience or however much. And my mom is a nurse practitioner. And but this is the one time where I've ever disagreed with her, and it's just from personal experience. So I have to take some medication at night before I go to bed. If I do not take them, the withdrawals are so bad. I get brain zaps, I get shaky, everything hurts. Like it's horrible. Like it's similar to being hungover, from what I've been told, but uh, I personally think it would be far worse. Or, like this is far worse than being hungover. But I know that one night when I took them, I have a bad gag reflex. So like I gagged when brushing my teeth, and I already didn't feel good, so I ended up like throwing up right after taking my medication. Next morning, I felt like shit so bad, like I didn't take my medication. And my mom was like, "It shouldn't do that. Like forcing yourself to throw up, it should be in your system." I don't think so. And she wasn't like vehemently opposed to the idea or the concept. Like she wasn't saying definitively no, you're crazy. She just was saying from her like
her
what
experience.
yeah,
Yeah.
from what practice says it shouldn't. But yeah, I feel like it definitely does, and we evidently the vets know that too because they told him to make the dog throw up. And Fenton took that as his mission. We called him in the middle of the night, and he was like, "Dude, I'm on it. This is my calling. I'm gonna make sure this dog's okay." He was fired up. It was like heroic.
Yeah, dude, he cares about that dog, and if I was in Tawas, I would have done the same thing. I would have marched my ass over to that house, and I would have made that dog throw up.
Yeah, for
I would have
sure.
done it single-handedly, you know, because you know it's a friend's dog, and I'm not just gonna let them die because
Yeah,
everyone else is just freaking out. Someone's got to like calm down and do something about it, you know.
yeah. It was just a rough situation. Like that was actually tense. I know at first, like me and Caden, especially me and Caden, were just like struggling to keep our composure and not laugh because of how comical it was that they were freaking out. Like how they were freaking out and the screaming. It was just hard
I
to take
was I
seriously.
was laughing
But
at
then
how they
like
were being so stupid and just yelling at Wyatt,
yeah, and
literally
then
like,
the more the story unfolded, the seriousness kind of set in, and I was like, oh yeah, maybe we need to figure this out pretty soon. So I ended up sending his sister some screenshots, or I think it was actually his brother himself, Clyde. I sent him some screenshots uh, from like a website, and then I also contacted my girlfriend, and I told her at the time we were just talking, but now she's my girlfriend. But at the time, I texted her, and she has some vet experience. Like she's volunteered there for a couple of years and stuff, and so she was of great help. And she was like, "Yeah, you need to." She concurred that we needed to make the dog throw up and spoon feed him some like charcoal or something to absorb some of the chocolate and stuff in it. So, and then my one of my aunts is a veterinarian as well, so I contacted her and sent them a whole list of screenshots to try and help the situation. It ended up working, but it was a little late because they argued for so long.
like, dude, I'm not even a veterinarian, and I knew you had to make the dog throw up, but apparently they didn't think
Yeah, I
so.
was just like at that point it was all hearsay because Caden is just like he had no help in the convert. Like he was just there
Dude, he
bystander
was just
effect
laughing
the
his
whole
ass
thing.
off
He
the
was
whole time.
laughing. Yeah, so
Yeah.
he wasn't of much help. Wyatt was like he was trying to not freak out back, but you can only take getting screamed at so much, and they weren't listening, so it was all just hearsay. It was them against us. So I just wanted to give them some proof of some like just some evidence that hey, we are correct. Just do it, and the dog will be okay.
Yeah, guys, so if any of your dogs eat some chocolate and it's like a pretty big amount,
Dark
make it
chocolate
throw up
especially.
by giving it, especially dark chocolate, make it throw up with I think it's let me see. I think it's
Over
called
20 minutes, I
hydrochloric
believe.
acid.
If it's over 20 minutes, I don't know how if you're supposed to, so I'd contact the vet to double check. But it also depends on how much. And milk chocolate is
It
there's a lot of fake
well if
stuff in
you
it, so it's not
yeah.
as volatile to dogs.
Dude, it is not hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid is
Yeah,
like fucking
that would mess that
bad,
dog up.
dude. Dude, what the fuck is it called?
Here, let me pull up. I still have
Oh
the
my God.
screenshots.
Oh, isopropyl alcohol. Yeah,
Yeah,
make it
right.
drink a
I
little
was
isopropyl
every time you
alcohol and
were
it'll throw
saying
up.
it, like chemistry. Out of all the sciences, chemistry was not my strong suit. But in my head, I was like, that does not sound right, and I don't think we should be recommending people.
Hydrochloric acid.
Good thing you fact
Yeah,
checked that.
no.
I was about to say something, but you ended up realizing, yeah,
Yeah, guys,
no.
don't give your dog hydrochloric acid unless you're trying to kill it. But yeah.
Please don't try to kill your dogs. We'll say that. Like,
Yeah, for sure. Well, what's going on new with me is 2 episodes ago, like I told this story. It's someone went into my Twitch chat and they ended up getting my Discord and they were selling me this like Twitch banner and stuff and like overlay. And I was pretty skeptical at first because I looked at some of their work on their Instagram and in my opinion it looked kind of bad. It looked kind of AI generated or just kind of like PNGs of shit. Like here I'll show the picture which I was very skeptical about. This picture right here, I saw it and I was like pretty skeptical that the work was going to be pretty high quality because you know they were charging me 150 at first and I ended up to talk it down to 125. So, and if I got something like this, I would have been very sad. Do you see what I'm sharing,
yeah,
Spencer?
yeah, I've got it. Yeah, that's just like,
Spencer,
yeah, yeah, I see it.
do you think this is actually like drawn or does this look like a
No,
PNG of
no.
Pikachu?
Those are definitely a bunch of PNGs thrown on top of stuff.
Yeah. So either my thing was a diamond in the rough or I
Ooh.
actually made them work hard on it, but this is how it turned out. And, I gotta say, they did really good. They let me do unlimited changes. Obviously, the concept's Berserk, if you know anything about Berserk.
Yeah,
This is me,
I
obviously.
know enough to say that. That's pretty awesome.
The Berserker armor, um, Dragon Slayer, the God Hand, and then the Eclipse is going on. And then here's some blood, like in the anime, when everyone was killed, there was like fucking shit ton of blood. And then it says
I
Young
didn't
Diamond here because that's the name of all my channels. So I gotta say, they did some good work with me. And, I'm gonna leave their Instagram in the description if anyone wants to, you know, check them out because they're an independent person doing this and they're like they have a business around this and I'd say they did a pretty good job. It's a pretty fair price for custom artwork and they're very like cooperative. Very cooperative. As I said, unlimited changes. Like the initial version of this was like done a week ago, like more than a week ago, but I kept like saying things like little things I wanted changed. Like I didn't this looked different. The background was a lot brighter and I didn't want it to be that bright. Um they spelled this wrong actually, so I had to get that switched. There was lightning in it initially, which I got taken out. This black here was originally orange.
Was it
Like, there's
like
a lot
bright
of small
lightning,
things
like
that got
Stranger
changed.
Things
So,
almost?
kind of, but I wanted it to actually be like, the real eclipse. Like,
Yeah.
and it there's no lightning in the eclipse, so I just didn't. I wanted it to be more accurate. Anyways, I just wanted to give a little update on that. So I'm gonna be setting up those overlays for my Twitch streams eventually. They sent me like a tutorial video. I haven't had time to set it up yet, but soon I will have that set up. And then something I've been learning, I literally learned just today and last Tuesday, is in my interpersonal communication class, we're learning about some listening styles. So like the ones we've learned, there's four communication styles. There's emotional listening, which is focusing on emotions when you're listening. There's analytical listening, which is focusing on like before you form an opinion on something, you're getting all the information available from both sides, basically, is what analytical is. That's the
Hmm.
one I do the most is analytical listening. And then there's critical listening, which is it's a lot like analytical, but it's more like you're more suspicious. Like you question like how trustworthy the sources are of the information you're getting. So like if one of your friends are known for lying, you're likely gonna believe them less. And that might sway your opinion on the situation. And then there's task-oriented listening, which is it's just the least amount of communication and just getting the task. Like do this and there's no why behind it is what task-oriented listening is. What kind of listening style would you say you mostly use, Spencer, out of those four?
Definitely mostly analytical. I'm a pretty analytical person, and I try not to I was never a fan of high school drama. Not only does it bore me, but like it's just I don't see the point of gossip and talking about other people behind their back and shit or making stuff up. It happened a lot, and I just wanted to focus on my classes and just have fun and not insert myself into other people's business for no reason. So when something did cross my way, I'd make sure to get both sides before most of the time. Like you said, if there's like somebody who's like known to lie, then it kind of sways your opinion a little bit. But I always tried to get both sides as best I could.
Yeah, for sure. That's how I've tried to be as well. I like hearing both sides of the story before I form an opinion on it. And then also, the Super Bowl was last Sunday, so I watched that. And I gotta say, it was one of the more boring Super Bowls because it was a defensive slog, dude. Like punt back and forth. It was definitely a defensive oriented game. And if you don't really appreciate football and if you don't really know football that well, you're gonna hate watching a defensive game because the I will say the high scoring games are more entertaining, but if you're someone who like, for me, I love playing defense and watching like good defensive plays. It just it has a special part in my heart. I like seeing it, and it is kind of boring just seeing them punt it back and forth. But some of those defensive plays, like when they strip sacked Drake May and got the ball, eventually got a field goal out of it. That was pretty entertaining to watch. But there's a
I ended up.
large. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
you can finish.
I was gonna talk about something else relating to the Super Bowl, so you can say if you were talking about the game.
Yeah, I actually had COVID during the Super Bowl and a couple days before, and it absolutely rocked me. Um, so that I came in like after like 15 minutes into the Super Bowl already. I ended up waking up and I went downstairs and started watching it with the family. And you'd think that I'd pick up more going to high school football games for marching band and stuff for 4 plus years. You'd think that I'd actually pick up on some stuff, but I'm pretty limited with my knowledge of football. But I do know enough to like gather like how some points are earned and stuff. Like I like field goals and touchdowns. Like that's normal. But I did feel like the game was kind of boring, and because I looked at like like we were a good portion of the way through, and they had like I don't know, it was in the like late teens for points and against nothing, and I'm like, I don't know if it's just because our high school football team would just get smoked at least the first couple years of my high school career, but there was always a lot more points than that, and there was always a lot more going on. So I felt it was kind of slow.
Oh, it definitely was, and that's what I was saying. Like those offensive shootouts are a lot more entertaining because, they're going across the field back and forth, and obviously a closer game is going to be more entertaining than a blowout because, you got you on the edge of your seat and you don't know who's going to win. But the Seahawks just controlled the game the entire time, and Drake May, you know, he's a young quarterback, but he fell under the pressure.
Mm.
Honestly, I think the here's a little hot statement. I think the Patriots were frauds to begin with. I don't think they should have made it to the Super Bowl. They had an easy ass schedule, and the Seahawks and Rams game that was more entertaining than the Super Bowl, and also freaking closer than the Super Bowl because the Rams are a better team than the Patriots. Whoever won that game, by the way, the Rams or Seahawks, they were going to win the Super Bowl. Like I don't know. I don't know if that's a hot or cold take, but the AFC this year have just been weak. The Broncos, the Broncos freaking lost their head quarterback, so they didn't have much of a chance either. Like everyone this year had just crazy defenses, and then I'd say the Seahawks and Rams also had a really good offense to back it up. So I think the Patriots are just frauds, and they shouldn't have made it that far to begin with. I'd rather have seen the Broncos. I think that would have been more entertaining for me if it was the Broncos and Seahawks and not the other way around.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with most of the teams. Obviously, there was one year where we thought the Lions they were doing pretty good, and obviously from I kind of
Yeah,
have a
then we
root
lost to
for
the
them being from
fucking
Michigan.
Commanders.
Yeah,
That was
right
a
at the
tragedy.
end. And I remember I was working where Fenton works at the time. I wasn't at the hospital yet, and like the owner was talking about like if the Lions do get into the Super Bowl, he'd shut down the restaurant for the day for Super Bowl and stuff, and it was going to be this huge deal. But no, they threw right at the end. Maple Leafs did the same thing with the Stanley Cup last year. I will always pay most attention to hockey. I'm not a huge sport person, but I love hockey. But I'm still not like super up to date with all the I know how the game works. I know all the penalties and stuff, but I don't know like the teams very well and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I was always rooting for the Maple Leafs to get far. Red Wings are pretty awesome as well, and I know those two are usually pretty rivaling, but yeah, they threw right at the end.
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, the Lions, we just had a lot of injuries this year. I'd say that's why we didn't really get that far this year. And that one year when we lost to the Commanders, we really could have went all the way. I don't know how we lost to the Commanders, honestly. The Commanders did terrible this year, and so did the Lions, honestly. But hopefully next
Yeah,
year is our
Lions were
year.
not in the game.
We actually had a chance at like the end. Like since Green Bay lost their last two, we just had to win out, but we ended up losing to the Steelers, and that's actually how we didn't make it to the postseason.
Oh, really?
If we beat the
I saw
Steelers, we would have made it to the
I
postseason.
saw pretty early on when the Lions were doing real rough that there was not a lot of chance of them getting in, so I kind of assumed that they were. I
Early
just
on, we
not
were
paying
doing actually
attention.
really good. I think we started off
It
like
was like
four
halfway
and one
through.
or 5-1 or something. We started the season off pretty well. We just finished poorly.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, but the main controversy isn't the game was boring because that is kind of just a fact. It's more like people really didn't like the halftime show because it was all in Spanish, and people think like since it was in Spanish, it was like un-American. And even Kid Rock made his own halftime show on YouTube or something. And Dude, my uncle was watching that shit while the fucking
No.
halftime show was going on. I was
He was
like,
one of the
dude, that
like
looks like dog shit.
less people watched the Turning Point halftime show than people who voted Trump in the state of Texas, which is sad.
Yeah.
And I
And
know
also,
like they
like, I
filmed
heard
tours.
300,000 of the viewers were fucking bots as well for the Kid Rock one.
I heard it was even over that, but yeah, there was definitely a lot. I know they had
Hmm.
like 200 paid actors to be there and stuff too to try and make it look like it was enjoyable. I never
Uh-huh.
watched the full thing, obviously. I just saw some clips of it and it was rough from what I saw. And I like it was fitting for Kid Rock. Like he's kind of he's kind of embraced the white trash kind of look, but I feel like that's kind of how the their halftime show went.
Yeah. What did you think about the Bad Bunny halftime show? I thought it was pretty decent. It wasn't as good. I liked the Kendrick Lamar one more, but I
Yeah, I'm
wouldn't say
not.
it was fucking terrible or
No,
nothing.
the people who did really dislike it, they disliked it for the wrong reasons. I feel for most of it. If your only reason for not liking it is because it's in Spanish, that is fine. But it's not un-American because he is one of the most popular artists of today in America, and he is, and what people often forget is Puerto Rico is an American territory.
Dude, I
We
don't think people should
suck at
even
it.
hate it because it's Spanish. Like, dude, just
No,
because it's
I don't think
Spanish, it doesn't
hating.
matter. Just like
So
I just liked how it sounds. You don't have to understand music. A lot of music you can't understand, and it just sounds good. And
yeah,
I
and
thought it sounded pretty good.
they had a good message at the end. It was like it was an
What was
objective.
the
It was
message at the end?
objectively
Because it
he
was also
had
in Spanish, and I did
they
not
brought
know what
out
it said.
no he said in English at the very end. So real quick, a common misconception is that English is America's first language. We don't have one. We America like in Canada we have uh, America or sorry in Canada.
American.
No,
We
not
speak
American.
American.
No, so in America we don't have one. In Canada we have French and English as our first language, so we have two. In America, we don't have a first language established because there's so many different cultures here, and that
Yeah.
used to be what made us unique, is how many
It's because
different cultures.
America's a melting pot. We have a lot of
Yeah,
different
and people
cultures here.
forget that we started as immigrants. Like everything,
Yeah, we,
like
dude, America was built by immigrants. Like nobody living here besides the Native Americans are the OGs, bro. You know?
yeah, and a cool message I've heard, like I know Billie Eilish said this at the Grammy Awards and stuff, is that nobody is illegal on stolen ground, which is a good point because none of this, like almost none of the land was given to us. We either took it from like natives, we would take their land, say we're moving them somewhere else, and then it was like we relocate them to a
Oh yeah,
tiny area,
that was
take all
fucked
their
up.
land. Like yeah, all of our land is like stolen or got through war, apart from the 13 colonies, which we also got by revolting against the British. So I feel like it's a little unfair. And I'm not saying like anybody should just come in as they
Yeah.
please. Like nobody wants illegal immigrants taking their jobs.
What was
That's
the
fair.
message?
But the issue is people are coming
What was
here
the message Bad
illegally.
Bunny said?
So the message at the very end, he had a bunch of people walk up with a bunch of different flags of the world, and he was listing a bunch of countries, including America, and saying basically we need to stand together and we need to unite, which is what
Oh yeah, I
America
did actually
was
see that.
about at one point in time. So that was I felt that was a great way to end it. They had something I forgot what the exact quote was, and I don't want to butcher it, but it was like something against hate, and it was saying that hate is bad and we need to. It was like love is more powerful than hate or something similar, and I feel like that's a good message. So I don't feel like it's really fair to say you dislike it for that, and it is absolutely by definition not anti-American. If anything, it is American because of it.
Yeah, and another huge criticism I saw was people complaining about the lyrics in English, but like the translation is not ever going to be correct, and also it's like people judging an English song because it sounds weird in like a different language. It's just like you have to like
Yeah.
know the language to really understand the lyrics, and if you don't, then don't try to look up the lyrics and then judge the lyrics because I thought the song sounded good even though it was just talking about Bad Bunny like having a bunch of bitches or something. Like I don't care, dude.
And
Like
it's not like that's completely
like
unheard of. Like the same people that do that, and if you heard the lyrics at the Kid Rock show, like that was far worse. So it's kind of like you can't
what
really
were the
pick and
lyrics of the
choose.
Kid Rock show?
I don't even remember. There was something about like it was just more white trashy stuff and like really dehumanizing and this may just be hearsay, but I did hear something about one of the lyrics saying like I like them underage or something like that. I don't think they'd allow that. I
That's
think that
fucking
that was
crazy.
probably, and I think
That's a lyric for Kid Rock.
I'm hoping that it was just a meme, and it probably was because I don't think that they'd be that
I saw
obvious
that
with
too,
everything.
actually. That's the
But
one
I've
lyric
seen
I
it
saw.
so many places that I like I said, I'm not just gonna like I always fact check myself,
Another
so I'm
another
not gonna say it's
another
true
thing
or
is
not. But
a lot of people are like complaining about the lyrics, but they're bringing up songs that Bad Bunny didn't even sing at the halftime show, you know?
yeah, yeah, like
Also,
yes, he
Kendrick
has
Lamar was
sung.
singing about like what Drake being a pedophile. Like, isn't that pretty not kid friendly? Talking about Drake being a pedophile, like I'd argue, most halftime shows aren't 100% kid friendly. It's the Super Bowl. I don't think the Super Bowl, the first thing I think about the Super Bowl, I don't think about kids watching it. I think about grown like like teenagers or adults watching it who are mature enough to like
Yeah,
understand that stuff.
and like you said, a
Like if
lot
you
of it
don't want
gets
your kids
lost in
watching that
translation for what they
the
did
Super
say.
Bowl, just just don't. And also I'm sure like the people complaining about it also aren't Hispanic. They're all like white people. I'm sure your white children don't even understand the lyrics anyway, so I don't know why the fuck you're complaining, bro. Like, like it's stupid.
Yeah, I really respected the halftime show. I loved the message at the
Dude,
very end, and
something
I think it's very important.
yeah, the message is good. Something I also heard complaining is like apparent there wasn't like a whole lot of white performers in the halftime show and people were complaining about that. And I just think like who cares? Like it's like a Puerto Rican Hispanic theme. You don't really see a lot of gringos there anyway. So I don't like if they're trying to be
Yeah,
culturally accurate, it makes sense to not
yeah.
have a whole lot
So
of white people there
and then,
for
like I said, even though we're terrible at it like helping them out, Puerto Rico is still an American territory. Like when I forgot which hurricane it was, but they
exactly.
got slammed with a hurricane, and the entire island lost power, and had nothing, and America just completely turned a blind eye. Like they just completely ignored it. Like we should be helping with stuff like that. But all that aside, like they're still part of us, and they have a say. And complaining about there being not being enough white performers, like that's just ridiculous. And I don't understand how people can like preach that as an actual argument and think that it's reasonable or okay or human or anything.
Well, they argue that there can't be like a full white performance, you know, but there can't be a full Hispanic performance
I haven't been watching,
for
like
Puerto
I've
Rican.
never paid attention to football until like at all, and then until recently I haven't even seen too many Super Bowls until like starting a couple years ago. So I can't comment for sure if that's true or not. But I'm willing to bet there have been a couple out there that's all white or very close to it.
And also it was just like about the theme. I don't think it like if it's
Yeah,
like a theme being like Puerto Rican music, I don't see the problem with they all being Puerto Rican. Honestly,
and
my least
again,
favorite part was when the fucking Lady Gaga, the one white girl there, was singing, dude, because that sounded like shit, and that was the only fucking English part. Because she was
yeah,
singing that fucking shit ass song, "Die with a Smile," and that song did not fit with the fucking like the fucking maracas and shit they were playing in the
Yeah.
background, the Puerto Rican instruments, dude. Like it's not that song sounded like fucking Dookie with the fucking Puerto Rican soundtrack in the background, and that song sounds like shit to begin with. And I don't know why
Yeah.
the fuck Lady Gaga was there. You know, the one fucking English song sounded like shit. Everything else sounded fine. Also, apparently
Yeah.
Green Day was there. I don't think I saw them, but apparently Green Day
I
was
didn't
there
see
too,
them.
which
I
is
know
cool.
they've been doing a lot of like anti-MAGA stuff recently as well, so I'm willing to get bet that there's been a lot of controversy with that, but I haven't seen too much on that yet, at the very least.
Yeah, I just wish they played a song. I would have rather heard a Green Day song instead of Lady Gaga Die with a Smile. Like, I don't mind. Some of Lady Gaga songs are kind of good, but like Die with a Smile, it is just her. If Bruno Mars was there as well, I think it would have been okay. But it was just Lady Gaga singing it, and it sounded like shit, dude. Like, it did not sound good at all.
Yeah, I wasn't huge into it. I didn't think it was the worst, but I will say I will give her some credit for this. I barely recognized her at first. I did not know because I didn't go into the Super Bowl with much knowledge
I
except
don't even
for
know if she.
the
I'm not
halftime
really a
show.
big Lady Gaga fan to begin with, so I
No,
didn't
I'm
know what
not
she
either,
looked
but
like much
I've
to
just like
begin with.
seen pictures of her. But she's very good at like changing her appearance and like with outfits and stuff and being like basically an entirely different person. But yeah, I went into it pretty blind. The only thing I knew was like I knew Bad Bunny was going into it, or he was going to be like the main performer because I already heard a lot of drama about it and stuff. People complaining. You'll never satisfy everybody, but there's things that are just too much and people can't handle. I don't know why, but
Yeah, for sure.
misunderstanding.
Another thing people were complaining about, like specifically someone you and I were talking with earlier, was about like the people who were at the live show, like they couldn't see it that well because of the bushes and shit, but like it's not even really meant for that. It's meant for like it is meant for television. You know, most people who see
Yeah,
the Super Bowl are on television. Only a small portion of the people are at the game there. And also they still have screens. They have screen like a huge screen above the whole set where they can see the same thing everyone else is seeing, like what we're seeing on the TV. So
yeah.
I don't
So
really think people should be complaining about that either. Like that there was
for
bushes.
sure, because the halftime show is one of, if not the biggest part of the Super Bowl, minus like the actual game itself. And a lot of people watch it just for the halftime show.
Yeah.
And but nobody's going to buy tickets to a football game that are ridiculously expensive, like throw their vacation money away just for a game to watch a halftime show. And it's not like a foreign concept that the halftime show is not like super friendly towards people in the seats. And you people, it's like just the front row. If you're up high, like most of the crowd, you'll still be able to see what's going on. And even without that and excluding the screens, it's still a cool experience and you get to see them. I've seen videos of people there like in during intermission where they're setting up the halftime show and stuff. And it's just a cool experience overall. So I feel like people are just finding reason to complain just to complain at that point, which is also something it's just happened throughout the years recently. It's just grown as a concept, but people just need to chill out, enjoy something. If you don't enjoy it, just keep it to your like you can speak your public opinion, but don't look for reasons to hate when there aren't any.
Yeah, especially because the people are complaining about it weren't even at the halftime show. Like, why are you complaining about how it looked when you didn't even watch it from the halftime, from the actual Super Bowl? Like, you weren't in a
Yeah,
seat there.
I haven't heard anybody online, like I haven't seen any posts or anything complaining about somebody who's actually been there and having them complain about not being able to see.
Yeah, I just hate when people get offended for other people. Like, that's like one of the main things that piss me off. Like, when people get offended for
I
someone
agree.
else. Like, get offended for yourself. Don't get offended for
And
someone else. You
and
know?
that goes on both sides of the political spectrum a lot, but that's always been a pet peeve of mine is like if it's something like actually offensive, like let's say saying the hard R or something, like yeah, that's you can get upset about that, like it's hurtful, but when it's stuff like the halftime show, like
Yeah, that's
that's
one
so
thing.
small and stupid and insignificant. It just I don't I'll never understand, and I'm not one to get offended. I'm a hard person to offend in general, I feel, but I would never get offended for somebody else on something so insignificant and meaningless.
Yeah, and if someone made like a joke about me being ginger, I would hate if someone next to me just got pissed off, dude, and was yelling about it because it's like just chill out, dude. Take a chill pill.
Yeah, no, people make ginger jokes about me all the time. I roll with it. I think it's awesome. I think it's
Yeah, it's
hilarious.
funny, dude. The only thing ginger related that really like grinded my gears. My teacher for this is the class I was talking about earlier, my interpersonal communication
Oh
class.
yeah.
My teacher like brought up like she said, there's three people in class who are sticking out to me right now, and I was one of them, and I said, oh, is it because of my red hair? Because I'm the only one in there who's a ginger, and she was like, no, it's because your water bottle, and besides, you're not even a ginger, and I'm like, dog, you are you
Are
seriously
you
telling me
colorblind?
that
Yeah.
I'm not a fucking ginger? Like I've been fucking born this way, dude. I didn't dye my hair or nothing, dude. Like, and she's like, I've seen gingers with more red hair than you, and I'm like, yeah, no shit. Like, I'm not like a
Oh no
full
shit. Don't
fucking
take that
red
many
ginger.
yellow hairs.
I'm more like half brown, half red, but like I'm still considered ginger, you
Yeah.
know?
No, you're for sure
Like I didn't
ginger.
know there was fucking discrimination in the ginger community, dog. Like
My hair is weird. I'm
that's
like
the
a
first time I got offended about being ginger was when I wasn't
yeah.
well, it wasn't
My
fucking classified. Like I didn't make the fucking cut, you know?
you didn't make the cut. My ginger hair is weird because
Yeah,
it's
like I
like
didn't make the
I'm
cut.
apparently like full ginger is what I've been told, and it's a lot like it's just a
You
lot
definitely
deeper
are
of a
full
red.
ginger. Yours is
Yeah,
more orange. Yours is more orange than mine.
I've got all the health complications to go with it too, but all the debuffs. But my hair I don't know if
I
yours
got some
does
of the
this or not because
debuffs,
I
dude.
haven't
Fucking
paid
the sun,
attention.
-5
Yeah,
debuff on the
just
sun,
being
dude.
like allergic to the sun, it's awful. But my hair actually gets really dark red in the winter because of like the lack of sunlight, I'm guessing, and stuff, which I think is interesting. Does
Uh,
yours do that at all?
yeah, mine does that as well. In the winter, it gets darker. In the summer, it gets lighter as well.
Yeah, because mine's like almost bright orange in the summer, but in the winter it's just like deep red.
Yeah, I do relate to that. There's a lot of cool facts about gingers, like our pain tolerance is higher, um, our resistance to like drugs are higher.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
think
it's
I
the
went into that
sunburn
last
thing.
time, but I'm immune to anesthesia because of it, well, likely because of it. Like I don't metabolize it. I ended up like waking up during a procedure when I was really young.
I don't think I'm like that resistant, but I haven't
No,
had
I'm
many
just weird.
procedures like that either, so I wouldn't be able to say. But I I used to break out in hives like real easily. I don't know if that's just a me thing or a ginger thing though, but I used to break
I
out in
do
hives
from
real easily.
grass. Like if there's grass clippings in the air from
Yeah,
somebody mowing
that's
their lawn, or I lay in grass, I just break out in hives and I have uncontrollable itching.
that was this no, that's literally what it was for me. It was also grass up until I started playing football because I think I was just exposed to grass so much my body was just like, all right, fuck it, we're just gonna fuck it out because
Yeah,
I
I
stopped
built
getting
up a
hives when I
tolerance.
joined football. Before that, I would just get hives all the time though.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, it's fun being ginger. Not
also
really.
we sense temperature differences easier than other people, I've heard.
Really, I've I feel like I've heard that and I've kind of noticed it, but I haven't like I don't know. It's not been something I've thought about too much.
I definitely have noticed it. Like if the room gets colder and I'll be like, "Did you guys feel the room get colder or something?" Like no one else would notice it, but I would definitely like I would
Yeah,
notice it if it
yeah,
gets colder or warmer by a little bit.
yeah. I
Anyways,
definitely
moving
do.
on. Moving on from the
Yeah.
ginger talk. Um, you want to talk about iron lung, Spencer? I actually made a video about that
Oh
recently
yeah, that was a good
if you
video. I
want to talk
watched
about
it.
it.
Yeah. So I talked about my books a little bit last time we had one of these,
Yeah.
and I am going for the cosmic horror genre, and that is what Iron Lung is. Now, cosmic horror is interesting. It's my favorite genre, but it is very, very rare, and a lot of people mislabel other things as cosmic horror when they're not, and they just kind of think like, oh, space plus horror. But cosmic horror is specifically like it's like if you cross nihilism with horror. So nihilism's the belief that nothing matters, right? And there's cosmic nihilism, which is like grand scheme of the universe. We are insignificant. We exist for a very brief amount of time. We are very small creatures. So
I thought
cosmic
it
horror takes
I thought it was
that.
Eldritch horror.
Eldritch is kind
I
of
think it's
different.
both.
So cosmic horror is usually eldritch, but eldritch can be other things without being cosmic horror.
Oh,
So
so it's like a
with
blanket term. It's like a blanket
yeah,
term.
yeah.
Eldritch
It's
horror.
got different
Okay.
it's got different attributes. So with cosmic horror, the defining factor of it is it focusing on insignificance. So imagine taking nihilism, nothing matters, and crossing that with nothing matters to us. We are helplessly in control, or we have no control and we are helpless. There are other things, higher beings or creatures or things in the universe that do matter. And that is seen a lot during Iron Lung. So it started with H.P. Lovecraft. He is the father of cosmic horror. He wrote Call of Cthulhu, created Nyarlathotep. Um, I forget. It's like The Color from Outer Space or something like that. A bunch of cool stories, and they all focus on like these creatures that are like so unfathomable to the human mind. If we look at them, we go insane. There was this popular movie blowing up on Netflix quite a few years ago called Bird Box. That was definitely
Oh
heavily
yeah.
inspired by it.
Yeah,
That was definitely
that
heavily
was a good
inspired.
movie. Bird
Yeah,
Box.
I did enjoy it. There was some issues with it, but I thought it was a really fun movie. But it definitely plays off of the Lovecraftian horror kind of stuff, where if you look at the creatures, you can't comprehend them and you end up killing yourself. Or some people's last words before they killed themselves after looking at the creatures was like, "Wow, they're so beautiful" and stuff. Then there was
Have-
the insane, and the insane people with the broken minds, they could comprehend the creatures, and they ended up being
They
devoters
were
of it. And
weren't
that's
they mind
all
controlled by the
kind
creatures
of
to do their bidding?
it's not necessarily mind controlling. It's just kind of like it's just something that happens. So, a book that I read from H.P. Lovecraft, everyone has probably heard of it if they know anything about cosmic horror, or if they were on like the dark part of YouTube Shorts with like the or YouTube before YouTube Shorts was created, but like those short creepypasta videos. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of Cthulhu.
Yeah,
It's
for
mentioned in
sure.
Terraria as well in its lore, but they don't play on the cosmic horror as much. But the book Call of Cthulhu is about this guy and his relative passed away who was a scientist researching something, and that thing was Cthulhu or like a statue of it or something. I don't. It's been a few years since I have, but basically this weird shit starts happening and people start seeing Cthulhu appear when he's not really there, and it's driving people mad and whatnot. And if you what it really was, Cthulhu hadn't woken up. Cthulhu was asleep at the bottom of the ocean inside of a city. I forget what it's called. It's not Atlantis, but it's like its own city. But if Cthulhu woke up, he would have destroyed the world. What was actually happening was he was just asleep and dreaming, but he is such a powerful creature, and his dreams were so powerful that they were altering the natural world. So that kind of plays off of the whole insignificance, like we have no power in this world. So back to Iron Lung, as it plays on that. So
There's a movie
obviously,
on that too, Call of
on what?
Cthulhu.
Oh,
It's
is
called
there? I know there's been a there's I all I've heard is there's no good Lovecraftian movie, and I really hope there is one someday. Which is probably why I
Did
love.
you read that book?
Yeah, I still have it.
Is it good?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's kind of slow to get into at first, but all of his stories are short stories. So like Call of Cthulhu is like 80 pages long. Like you can finish it in a day, no less than. But
I'd read
I
that.
feel
That
like
sounds interesting.
yeah, I could lend it to you for sure. But I feel like that's why I like Iron
Oh, you
Lung. So
have
I went
it?
into
Yeah,
Iron
I
Lung.
definitely want to read that. That sounds cool.
Yeah, But I went into Iron Lung with the mindset of like it was going to be an okay movie. Like he's Markiplier is one of the biggest YouTubers out there, so I knew it was going to have like a following. But I wrongfully assumed that it was going to just be like with the budget they had and what they could do, and it being not like a Hollywood starred film, that it was going to be just kind of like it wasn't going to be bad. I trust Markiplier, but I thought it was just going to be an all right movie, like fun, but it had its issues, is what I thought going into it. But I was totally wrong. So I know Markiplier has a lot of like I know he volunteered with some film stuff as an intern and whatnot. He did a phenomenal job with the movie. And I thought the concept was really cool going into it. I've heard of the game Iron Lung and I knew it was like a short game, but I didn't know much about it other than you're in a submarine in an ocean of blood. So what it actually is a brief synopsis for those who are listening. Spoilers, obviously. There are. This is if right after like the Great Space Race and stuff, if humans went further with it and it was an even bigger success, and we started colonizing. Like we have a colony on Mars, we go into space more, all as well. So there's like some space governments. There's a calendar for like interstellar space that so everyone can follow the same day and whatnot, and it all focused on that. But then suddenly there was this event called the Quiet Rapture, where all planets and stars disappeared, and leaving only some moons and people who were already in space, like spaceships and space colonies and stuff. So they discovered a pool of, or a ocean of blood on the moon, and they started sending prisoners into it, and they were at the same time also sending scientists into it. So there was a few different submarines, but one of them was a research submarine, and that one was always intended to come back. With the inmates subs, it was pretty much an execution. They would send them down, and they didn't really care if you came up or not. They were just there to have you report back.
They didn't care
Well,
about the materials that it took to build
no. So
the
Iron
submarine.
Lung is like a really like imagine the Ocean Gate submarine. So like the
The
scientist
ocean.
research one. So in the movie, you remember the SM-8 sub that he found? I think it was what it's called.
I
Like he
don't.
found the
I
destroyed
know the
sub, and
sub you
she was like,
found. Was that the
yeah, that
scientist
was
sub?
yeah. So that was the sub of the scientists, and they were
Okay.
like that. That's why it was so important, is they had some very valuable information. And they never really say what it was, but
I know what it was.
Simon, yeah, Simon played by Markiplier. He goes down inside of this like repurposed submarine. They made it very quickly. A fact about blood is like, and this proves that Markiplier knew what he was doing. So submarines work by like bringing in some water to decrease their buoyancy so they can sink. It did the same thing, but blood is a lot more viscous than water. So like so another thing about blood is when we move, like when we're using our limbs and stuff, our blood is flowing more. When blood sits, it kind of congeals and hardens almost. So it gets more viscous.
Like
So when
clots,
you're
blood
yeah, so
clot.
when you're exactly. So when you're taking in instead of water in a submarine, taking in blood and just setting it there, it's a lot harder to go up than to go back down. So that is another reason they didn't really care, and it was just kind of thrown together like that another reason he was welded inside of it, because it was just like they just needed to scrap it together. And so Simon, played by Mark, goes down and he finds a skeleton, and this is like breaking news for them because that's proof of life being down there, and they want a sample. Well, he figures out that there's more down there and there's something alive. And there's two creatures, I believe, shown. It might be more, but I'm pretty sure it was only two. So he starts getting stalked by the first creature, which is also the same one at the end.
Yeah.
And the first creature is like the giant fish with the teeth or whatnot. So that he noticed it right behind the skeleton when he got the picture. He noticed it looking at him, and when he started surfacing to refuel so he could go down, and they just welded like a shitty arm on it to break a piece off of the bone. When he was surfacing, it kind of knocked him around, and he was like screaming like, "You guys need to listen to me, there's something else down here." And they're like, "Wait, what do you mean, like it's alive?" And he was like,
Why
"Yeah."
was it stalking him to begin with?
So
Like, why
that's
didn't it just
that's
eat
even
him?
more of like So they played into the concepts that I found really interesting is that they weren't really sure. Obviously, there's no definitive answer of why the quiet rapture happened. So what they're thinking in the movie was those creatures were responsible, and that there
No
was like a
way.
god that peered into the universe, and it instead of most
That's
gods
what I
where
was
it's like
gonna say about
omnipotent.
like what you're gonna get to in a second. Like the light that he got to.
Yeah,
That thing was
yeah.
crazy.
So there's like this creature. They thought that like this god looked into the universe, and instead of it being like an omnipotent being that knows all, it kind of looked at us and just tried to make sense. So it was like almost a reverse cosmic horror. I feel like it was still cosmic horror, but I feel like it was also from the other creature's perspective too, because it's like us looking at like an anthill. Like we don't know entirely, like we know they bring food in and whatnot, we don't know everything of how they work, we just
Hmm.
kind of try to make sense of it the best we can. And that's kind
Yeah.
of what the god did, is that they said it kind of looked into the universe and just made sense of what was happening. So that was a cool concept, but that turned out to be one of the auditory hallucinations he was experiencing. Now this movie has a lot of religious symbolism that I did not notice at first. Like obviously the quiet rapture based on the rapture in the Bible. So I knew that much. I didn't know exactly how relative it was until I kind of got thinking about it a couple nights ago. The rapture is like God pulls all Christians from the earth, and then it's the start of the end times. Well, this movie is
Yep.
basically like the Bible says what happens on Earth. It doesn't say like if we colonize space, what's going to happen. So I feel like it plays on that a little
Yeah.
bit. And there's a
It
lot
it
more
does make
to it
sense
than
because
just
it was
that.
everyone on Earth who disappeared and the people in
Yeah.
space were still there.
So it's kind of like a twisted version of that, which I found really cool. Another thing was the second creature. It had a lot of symbolism to Satan. It was like a serpent, like you saw. It was like scaly. It was long, and like it was like really similar to a serpent, which is
Was that the
often
one
how.
he saw at the end?
Yeah, that. Yeah, it was one that was the giant eye. So that was the serpent, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
guessing
Okay.
that that was what was talking to him and making him hear the voices. So another really cool
Wait,
like
the
mind blowing
voices. So
thing.
that one voice wasn't a crewmate.
The one he when he found the sub.
That one voice wasn't the crewmate who like told him the coordinates.
No, that was not him. That was not a
Spencer.
person. They were long dead. Yeah, that was not a person. They were
I know
long
they were
dead.
dead, but they said they were still alive because of the light or whatever. So I thought they were like alive.
So that I've only seen the movie once. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but it's one of those movies that's like you need to watch it a couple times to kind of gather everything. Like it reminds me of my first time watching Interstellar. So like I needed to watch it another time to firmly grasp everything going on, and it's kind of like that with this movie. So I've just kind of been piecing together best I can based on memory alone. The light is the thing that I'm like the most like skeptical on, like still
That's what I was the
uncertain.
most confused about. I was like,
So
what the fuck is that?
in the game there is a light sort of to say. There's like a star like thing at the bottom of the ocean you find, and it's unclear exactly what it is, and they reference it as like a star at one point, but it's I'm pretty certain what and a lot of other people have concurred that it's a like a portal kind of like a rift. So I'm guessing that that's what the light that they were referring to was.
I
So
think it
it's
was
in
like a god, dude. Like the
it.
thing that caused the
Oh, there
rapture.
definitely was one. So another thing the movie brings up is what's more probable: all of the stars and planets in the universe disappearing, or a bunch of spaceships and spacecrafts and a couple of moons. So like that's a cool thing. Is like what if they were the ones taken?
Maybe. Maybe. I don't
So
know.
one this is a small detail, but I got really excited when this happened, and it's such a stupid thing to get excited over. But I'm a nerd. I want to be an astrophysicist. I love space. There's a flashback
Yeah, I love space too.
where like it wasn't, I don't remember if, yeah, it was a young Mark, and like his dad or somebody, like some older dude, was telling him like those stars aren't real, they're gone, they're just projections, which makes sense. Stars are like between like thousands to millions billions of light years away, It takes light that long to get there. The quiet rapture didn't happen a billion years ago. You would still see the stars, even though they're not there, which is even more terrifying, I feel. Like seeing all the stars there, but knowing that they're not real, I feel like leans into it even more.
Dude, it's like that was like about the filament station. That was also not part of the game. I'm pretty sure that's just something
It's
Markiplier
mentioned
made
in the
up.
game. It is mentioned in the game as one of like two stations or three. I don't remember how many. There's Eden, Filament, and then maybe a third. But
I
um,
don't even understand how it's like Markiplier's fault or Simon's fault that the filament station blew up. Like I don't understand why they were
I
blaming him
don't
for that.
remember. I was like trying. I was going full detective mode into all like the secret lore shit and all the cosmic horror stuff. And like another thing on how it's cosmic horror is for a lot of people, I feel like it'll be a slow movie. And you mentioned that in your video, is it's kind of slow, but
Yeah,
I
at
feel
the
like they
beginning,
did it
it's just
really
because
well. Like
Simon's
it's
real
just
just doing tasks like tasks in
yeah,
the
but
submarine. It doesn't
I
really
feel like
pick
they
up.
leaned into it in the best way possible. So if you don't like slow movies, you probably won't enjoy this as much. But the whole movie is him trapped inside the submarine. But that is what that's what helps the cosmic horror feeling is he's trapped. He can't do anything. And like you remember that like weird like meat creature that almost looked like Vecna from Stranger Things, like the weird blood creature thing that showed up. It showed up twice. First
I
time he
think.
turned around, saw it, like he heard it, turned around, saw it, and it ran behind a
Oh
corner.
yeah, that was
And
after the
then
light. That was after he went through the light thing,
yeah,
dude. Yeah, I remember. That thing was
exactly. And then the
scary.
second time he saw it, it was in the pilot seat, looking back at him. That was
I don't think
him.
I saw that. I don't think I saw it that
It
time,
was
but I
very
saw it the
quick, but
first time.
so the second time he saw it, he was around the corner, looked, he saw it in the seat, and ran behind the corner and hid. It never attacked him. That creature was him, hinting at either one of two possibilities. So the blood is confirmed in the ocean to be human blood.
Yeah.
So the possibility A is that the ocean is a hive mind, and when all the people disappeared, he, they all kind of got melted and congealed, and all their souls and stuff were merged into this hive mind ocean in, on the moon. Possibility two, and when he, which would make sense with why going into it, it was kind of normal at first, but the longer he was exposed to it, the more he would start having those auditory hallucinations and stuff. And him crossing the barrier, the light, might have been him partially joining the hive mind or something. Right, and after death, he would have at
Well,
the end of the
another
movie.
thing is when he went through the light, his oxygen was supposed to like run out, but like he was there for days apparently, according to the comms. So I don't like how did he survive? That's why I think the light was like a god,
That,
because like how else would
yeah,
he survive, you know?
that I'm not entirely sure on either. And there's a lot of stuff that's probably up for interpretation, which I always enjoy if done right. And I feel like the movie does a pretty good job of it too. Like it's vague enough where you can create your own kind of like head canon. And I find that really interesting when a movie is so put together and has the story thought out that much, but intentionally leaves stuff vague. But the other
Yeah, I
option,
definitely got to rewatch the movie.
oh, I for sure am. The other option, apart from a hive mind, is oh shoot, I lost my train of thought. So the hive mind. The second option is a time loop of him being stuck in that kind of
A
repeating
time
pattern.
loop.
Yeah, so him reliving it over and over, and him being
Okay.
freed from the submarine, or what him be, like dying, it did give him his freedom, but it was it like the whole theme of cosmic horror. It didn't matter. It was insignificant. All it did was free him from the confines of the submarine, and he was forced to relive it over and over, because that creature was him. First time he saw it, it hid behind a corner. Second time he saw it, he was behind the corner. Or first time he saw it, he was in the seat, turned around, and the thing hid behind a corner. Second time, he took a seat, or he was in the corner, saw it in the chair, and then hid behind the corner. So I believe
Oh,
that the first time he saw it,
okay.
it was him showing himself, leading him, because the creature going behind there is what led to him finding the note from, I think it was his brother or something, but just the previous person.
Oh, I
I
remember
feel
when
like
he
the
found the note. I
creature
didn't know there was something that showed him that.
Yeah, so it was just him. Like he was scared. He hid from the creature. Then he was like, "I need to see if it's still there." Peeked around the corner. It wasn't. Then he noticed the light, like something, and it was
Oh,
the box.
do
Not
you
the light as
remember?
in like the
You remember in
LED, but
Interstellar how like the dad was like giving messages through like the bookshelf? I think it's kind of like
yes,
that,
that
you
time
know?
stuff. Yep, that's exactly what it is. Time being non-linear. So that
Yep.
I also find really cool. This is another small fact about the movie that just my scientific nerd brain went off about is the scene where he presses the camera button to see what's going on when he was pulled up and freaking out. And they said, like, you just killed everybody you just took a picture of because it uses X rays. X rays
They
only
didn't kill
go like,
everyone. It
no, they said like
seriously injured the
everyone that
guy who
took
was
the,
the closest to it.
yeah, it said it was like, it would probably be a fatal amount and like there would be a lot of tumors and shit. So that I found really cool because he did his research. If our X-rays for like doctors and stuff only goes like 3 feet or so. When you're taking a picture, it looks like it was going like dozens of almost like 200 feet out or something. You would need a lot of X-rays to do that. Really powerful X-rays. When you get one chest X-ray, your doctor's reaction isn't, "All right, cool, you have cancer now." They were freaking out. They're like, "We're probably dead because of you." That would make sense if it was accurate. He was taking pictures under the blood ocean with radiation far enough to see, so it would have had to been a really high amount of radiation. That would have really fucked them up. So I thought that was really cool that he kind of did his own research there too and knew about the X-rays and
When they took the picture, didn't you see that one big guy?
yeah.
What was
I
that?
don't.
Dude, that
So I
scared
asked
me.
my buddy who I was with. I was like, "What is that? Is that like a skeleton they had or something?" I think it was just somebody really really close to the camera. It was one of the guys working on the because it's hooked up to the front of the
Oh,
submarine.
you're
It's hooked up
right.
to the front of the submarine, and that was all the engineers putting the giant like
Because it looked like a
welding
human.
hook
It
on.
looked like a big
Yeah,
human. So,
yeah, so I was confused. I was like, do they have like a piece of like one of the gods from down there up there or something? No, it was just they were working on the front end of the sub, welding that hook on or like
dude, that's
that
the guy who
that.
got fucking cooked. That guy working
Yeah,
on that hook.
that guy was fried. That guy has like a week max to live before he starts vomiting blood, and then like he would have started vomiting blood like minutes after he went down into the sub, but he would
He
have had
went
like
to
a
the
week.
IR like right after that. So,
Yeah.
yeah. That was the only scene that was like somewhat out of the submarine too, is that one scene when he went up to the surface. That's something I was gonna ask you about. Like, what did you think about the set just being in the submarine the whole time, besides like the very end and then that the part at the very
So
beginning when he went to the
I
surface?
I actually loved it. So that, like I said, that feeds more into the cosmic horror perspective because Mark goes down and he's going back and forth between like, I'm gonna earn my freedom and this is pointless. What am I doing? It's all gonna end the same. So he is physically trapped in that submarine. He is powerless to everything going on.
He was still
So
trying
I
his
feel like
best
that
though
really feeds into it,
to
and
like
they leave it.
survive.
Yeah, he was, and he. I thought it was really cool, like all the stuff he was doing, like the maps and shit.
Hmm.
And then at the very end of the movie, like right when he saw the serpent, and then shit started to hit the absolute fan, and like he started turning, and then I thought it was really cool. Like right before he started turning, and then during him getting turned, his eyes would turn red when he's angry enough. And he was like, "You want me?" And then he yelled, "Come and get me!" And his eyes turned like blood red. Like, and it wasn't just like a snap. It was like this cool, like it looks like when you put a drop of blood in water and it like slowly, like quickly, like disperses. It looks like that. And I thought that was a super
That one
interesting
time he
detail as
touched the
well.
blood, it like conjoined to his arm, and he'd like rip his
Yeah,
arm
which
off to get
furthers
it.
the
Like that was a
hive
pretty
mind even more.
gruesome
Like that
fucking
was
scene, dude.
definitely intentional. But yeah, the blood was hardening, and there was like like kind of tendrils of meat and flesh, and it was like sticking to the camera button to make sure that it kept taking pictures so he could see what was going on. It's like the creature wanted him to see everything happening and make sure he knows he could not do anything about it. But he actually did. He got the
Yeah.
information, he put it safely,
I'm gonna
and he
turn the
took
light
that
on real
creature
quick.
out. Yeah.
What were you saying?
So yeah, like it wanted him to like see what was going on and make sure he knows he's powerless. But at the very end, he did something about it. He got the black box. He strapped it up, made sure it could get out of there, and then uh, he took on the
Well,
creature. It wasn't the serpent. It wasn't like the what I'm guessing is a god or Satan in this case, if we're looking at religious symbolism.
I think it was a
But
god. Also, it said
I
like if he didn't do the black box, it would let him live forever or something. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so the whole
That's what I
time it was
remember anyway.
convincing him to destroy the black box because there was something in it like super important to him or super important to the
Dude,
cause
it
and
was the
everything.
light.
DEI, I think it was.
The
Yeah.
black box,
So
the black box is about the light, that light thing.
yeah. So
That's what I think anyway.
yeah, that had to be it. It was definitely about like the light, which was like I'm guessing the portal thing in the game. I'm guessing that's what it was. And there's something about that because it was mimicking the dead person that was in the SM8, I'm guessing. What are you doing? You are
I was seeing
so
if you had
laggy on my end.
noticed.
Yeah, I did. You're like less than 360p resolution on my end. Big lag.
That's how it
This is
was
being like
with
stimulated.
Wyatt too.
Yeah, I don't know. I have 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM in my PC. I should be great right now, but maybe it's my connection. I'm not sure.
Well,
But
dude, this whole time I thought that was like I knew it was a dead person, but I didn't think it was the creature. I thought it was
yeah,
a
no, it
real
was the
person.
creature convincing him. It was the creature imitating somebody, convincing him, and it was revealed that it was because he found the comm, remember, and the wire was ripped out. It couldn't have been working.
Yeah, but
So
no,
that's even more proof that he
dude,
was.
that doesn't make sense because later on it was fixed. Like from the when he went
Yeah,
in the
but that was
light.
like after he crossed through the light. It's some weird shit. Like another point of cosmic horror is it's incomprehensible. Like you're not supposed to
Oh,
understand the creatures and stuff. So I'm guessing it was a little bit of that leaning into it too. And but yeah, it was super interesting. But I like that he took the creature out at the very end. Like I'm all for like I love bad endings. They don't happen enough, and in the right place, of course. I don't want like
that's what I was
oh
gonna
my
say.
god,
I didn't like the
everybody's
ending.
dead at the end. I
I did
did.
not like it.
So I don't think there's enough bad endings out there. And I'm doing kind of a bad like there's a sad note at the end of each of my books, and the ending of my book is very cosmic horror and like reveals basically everything you thought you knew doesn't matter. But I like bad endings because there's not enough of them out there. Like you go into a movie and it kind of ruins the feel a little bit. Like you still got all that thrill going on, like Endgame, like so I know a lot of people complained about Infinity War when it first came out because it had a bad ending. Like
I liked the ending
half
to
of
Infinity
the
War.
entire universe died. I did too, because it was a bad ending, and we don't have. I don't say bad as in it was not like written well. I mean bad as in like it was a bad note. Like the bad guy won. We don't have enough of those going on because it kind of like waters down the experience. Like you're watching like the big final fight and it's super tense still, and you still got your blood flowing, but
I
ultimately
like
you
when the
know
villain
that they're
wins
going to defeat him.
sometimes. No,
Yeah,
I
exactly. So
that wasn't my problem. I like when the villain wins because I always root for the villain. Like when I used to watch Power Rangers, I always wanted the villains to win in Power Rangers.
yeah,
So I just didn't like the ending, not because it was like a negative ending. I just didn't like it because I didn't understand what it was representing. Like the box floating up to the surface, like it was kind of a cliffhanger. I feel like Markiplier's got to make a
yeah.
second movie now because like you can't leave us off with this the box going up there and we don't even know what the fucking box is. Besides, it's got to do something with the light.
It's
So
yeah, so that's kind of the point, and I personally like it. Like I know it's not for everybody. It's one of those vague interpretation things, and I personally like those, which is why I'm like kind of worried about the ending of my book because it's kind of similar, where it's like a little bit up to interpretation, and it's on a bad note, like the ending of my series. And I know it's not going to be for everybody, and I'm okay with that because I'm not writing it to make money. I'm not writing it because I want people to I want people to like it, but I want people to like it because it's what I like and what I wrote.
How
So
close are you
I'm
to being
going
done
into
with your book?
the first one pretty close. I keep going back and editing and stuff, and with work and college, I haven't had as much time as I would like to, because it takes up a lot of my time, like school and college does, or college and work does. But
How many
pretty
pages
close.
is it?
It's around 400 for each. It's going to be around 400 for each book. That's
Holy
kind of
shit,
like the
that's
standard.
like a legit thing.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's kind of like the standard for like most like the genre I'm kind of going for, like kind
When
of
you
like
get it like
suspense
published and
thriller.
everything, I'll buy one and read it because that sounds cool.
I'd appreciate that greatly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited, but I really liked Iron Lung. I thought it was great. My expectations were blown out of the water. I It's
I
a
actually did have
genre that
good.
is neglected and misunderstood, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. And I know Hollywood is absolutely pissed
They're
right now,
livid.
and
Yeah, because
I am
It
all
was
here
number one
for
on
it.
the
Yeah,
charts
and they're trying to do this semantics shit to try and get it off the charts and be like, no, you can't do that. And because like
because it's an
Hollywood's
indie film.
horrible. Like Ice Nine Kills is one of my favorite bands. They're
They
all
did
their
take it
songs are
off.
based on.
They did take it off
Yeah,
the charts.
which makes me sad. But Mark won big, and he got emotional in like his video explaining everything at the very like after the movie's release and stuff and how well it was doing. And I am so happy for him. And this a lot of people are like, well, it's only like Hollywood especially. They're like, it's only doing well because it's a YouTuber movie. No, there's been
It was a
several
good
YouTuber
movie.
movies.
That's
Like
something I said in my
Jake
video
Paul
too.
or Logan Paul did one. It was terrible. Like all these like 2016 YouTuber movies, they were horrible.
Dude,
Mark did his
the
research. He was passionate about it, and he had a loyal fan base. And that's why Hollywood is so upset. He's an independent director, writer, actor, producer, all of that he did like himself. Like he had a team, yeah, but like he didn't join up with a giant company to do it, and that's why they're so pissed off. And
that's what I
it,
said in my video too, is like you don't have to like Markiplier to like this movie, and you don't even have to like the game, because I did not know anything about the game before watching this,
that's
besides like what
something
you
I've
knew,
heard. Yeah,
just
I've
like the
heard.
Ocean of Blood, which I didn't even know that from the game. I just heard that from ear to mouth. So,
Yeah,
and I
I heard.
also
I watched it.
I watched the Penguin Zoe video about the movie before I watched it, so I had pretty decent
I have not yet.
expectations.
I have not yet. I plan to though. I did
And his
see
main
like a
complaint,
YouTube short or like a TikTok or something, and it was like I love this movie. My mother hated it, and it comes from the fact that I understand the game and she doesn't. I disagreed with that. Like I intentionally went into it knowing basically nothing.
the
I
main
did
reason
know,
people wouldn't like it, I think, is just because it's a slow burn and it
yeah,
takes a while to pick up.
yeah,
And
and I'm fine with that. Like because it leans into the
it is a
cosmic
different
horror
kind of horror
perspective.
too. It's a different
Yeah,
kind of
like
horror. It's not like a jump scare horror either.
yeah, it's
So people,
cosmic horror. It's
yeah.
left with this feeling and like not Oppenheimer is not cosmic horror. That's not what I'm saying. But it gives you kind of the same feeling as throughout the movie as the ending of Oppenheimer. So the ending of Oppenheimer, you're filled with dread
Yeah,
because
it's a
he's
dread
talking to
kind of horror. It's
Einstein.
not like
Yeah.
a
So
jump
he goes
scare.
up to Einstein, and like the whole movie, they're talking about what did he say to Einstein? Like, is he a Russian spy or something? Like, what's going on? What he said at the very end was revealed is I came to you with calculations that said we might ignite the atmosphere and destroy the world, or like might start a chain reaction that would destroy the world, which was an actual thing. Um, and Einstein's like, yeah, I remember. Why? What's up? And he was like, I believe we have. And it cut to future possibilities the of like nuke after nuke going off, continents being destroyed, and the final image, the soundtrack was brilliant, like just amplified the dread, and the final thing of the movie was the entire world slowly being engulfed in one singular flame that and covering the entire thing. That shit was
Well,
horrifying,
that
but
didn't
not
even
for like
happen
the
though.
jump scare.
That
No,
didn't happen.
that's it's showing future possibility. That's why it's so scary, is because that's showing what could happen in the future. He wasn't saying, "Yeah, we literally ignited the atmosphere." He was saying, "We created something that we can't take back,
That
and
can ignite the
this is
atmosphere.
going bigger." No, not even that. Just it's the key to our own destruction. So with like I was researching some extinction events because I'm just I don't know, I just like researching shit in my free time sometimes. And most like planetary extinction events are extraterrestrial, like comets, gamma ray bursts, uh, or like rogue planets, stuff like asteroids, just stereotypical stuff like that everyone knows about. Some not as much. Like I'm guessing most people don't know what a gamma ray burst is, but most terrestrial threats come from humanity. It is like theoretically there could be a virus, but it would have to be such a perfect virus that humans would basically have to create it, like mirror life, for example. AI, a lot of it's split the scientific community. A lot of scientists, 50% of them think it's going to be nothing, it won't go anywhere. The other 50% are like, we need to prepare right now for when, not if it takes over. And then,
Where do you stand
obviously,
on
the
that
biggest one is nuclear weapons.
for
I'm
the AI taking over thing? Where do you stand on
so
that?
I'm kind of, I have like a unique perspective. It's currently not developed enough to like they monitor its intelligence, like they like measured it, and AI in its thinking capacity on its own alone is similar to a cockroach. So like if AI was a real creature, it would have the same intelligence as a cockroach. That being said, AI is having a different effect that I believe has not been studied very much yet, and that is its effect on human evolution. And humans are horrible creatures. We like from a evolutionary standpoint, our nails and teeth are dull, our eyes are terrible, we have bad hearing, like we are not a good species.
Well,
Shrimp
well,
have these
we're
incredible eyes that
intelligent though. That's our
that
number one thing is
exactly
we're
our
intelligent.
number one thing is we are intelligent and we problem solve. So we throughout the centuries and centuries have been coming up, we have been adapting, and our minds have been adapting to change, and that is how we work, is figure out problems, find a problem, figure out a solution. AI is starting to do this thing where it can do that for us. So
Th-
like think of
That's something
Wally
I
when
saw.
we rely too much on machinery and we become like a bunch of fat people, but it would be worse than that.
It's like
It wouldn't be
Wall-E,
like that.
dude. Like what happened with
That's
Wall-E.
yeah, exactly. That's what I just said. So
Something
it's like
something
that.
I saw was a statistic is all the newer generations are like dumber than the last generation now. When it used to be like an upward trend, like every generation was smarter than the last.
Exactly.
But now with AI, they're getting dumber because, like what you said, they don't have to problem solve as much, and AI just kind of
Yeah.
spits it out at
So
you,
we
gives you
will
the answer.
eventually, if we continue to rely on it as much as we do, and continue to rely on it more, like start relying on it for more stuff, we'll lose that ability, and that is the only thing that makes us as great as we are as a species. So I feel like, what sucks is AI has not been around very long, and especially not like generative AI and stuff. So there's not a
I
lot
think
of
it's had more
stuff
negative
around for
effects than
statistics.
positive thus far. This
I
far,
do agree. Yeah, I definitely
there
agree.
are some
And
positives, but I think like it has more negatives than positives. I think the world would be better off without AI right now.
yeah, I feel like we should be s- allocating more resources to a lot of other scientific endeavors. Nuclear energy, I will always be an advocate for. We need to switch to that. The only reason like Chernobyl and stuff happened is because Russia was stupid and they built it really poorly to budget cut and stuff. If you make nuclear, like not only even with Chernobyl, imagine Chernobyl happens once every, it's been however many years, um, like upwards of 50, I think. So like
Chernobyl was
40
a
or 50.
design Chernobyl was a design flaw and
Yeah.
they since then
So
they fixed it.
it wasn't even just a design flaw. If it was just the design flaw, it wouldn't have happened. It was because of human error and negligence.
Yeah, it was also
They
that.
intentionally kept pushing the reactor more and more and more after it had xenon poisoning and stuff. So it looked like the reaction was not as high as it was, and then all of the xenon burned away and the reaction skyrocketed and it was too late. So they threw all the control rods in. They're like, throw everyone in, shut it down,
Yeah,
put it in.
and
What
then
did they
all the
do? They
control
made the
rods
tips
got
out of
fucking
graphite.
jammed.
Yep,
All the
the
control
tips of
rods
the
got
control
fucking
rods were
jammed.
made of like graphite, I think, which accelerates reactivity. That's not good. The first thing to enter are the tips. They immediately, uh, like the energy
Oh
skyrockets.
yeah.
All of the water converts to steam, ruptures the channels. They get stuck in place, endlessly accelerating the reaction. Lid blows off, oxygen rushes in, and then it explodes.
Yeah,
And
that
Chernobyl
was
is the
the
only
design flaw was the
nuclear
graphite
disaster.
tip. And then also
Yeah,
they sent all the control rods in at once. They should have just sent in one at a time, and then it would have been
not one
fine
at
as
a
well.
time. So they usually send them in groups. Control rods are sent in like there's a bunch. They also did not have the recommended amount of control rods,
Yeah.
so that alone was bad. Putting all the control rods in normally, if they built them correctly and did it cut corners, it would have been fine. But
But they got
they pushed.
stuck. They also got
Yeah,
stuck.
exactly. So even if they kept the control rods with the tips graphite, there would be, and they noticed that when putting the control rods in, there was a brief,
There was a small
very
jump.
brief spike. Yeah,
Yeah, there was a
small
small
jump.
spike before it went down because that was the
Exactly.
graphite, and
But
they
they just
ignored
wrote it
that. They
off and
didn't
they're
like
like,
study
yeah.
into it.
So they didn't, they just thought it's fine, it's not enough. They pushed it way beyond its limits because it was late at night. It was like 2 in the morning or something. I think it was like 1:20 something. No, I don't remember. 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. They had to get this like, they needed to get like this thing passed. So they needed to perform this test and prove that the reactor could, what they were trying to prove was that the backup generators would be able to sustain enough energy to keep the reactor running in the event of a power outage. So they simulated a power outage by dropping all of the power and then putting it back on. But they put it way too far and they kept pushing it because they needed to see these results. They had certain numbers that they needed to meet the deadline of. They weren't doing it. The reactor was warning them. They're like, it's going too far. You need to stop.
Yeah.
The Diadlov, I believe, was the head, and he was like, he, uh, he told them to ignore it and told them to keep pushing it, and then it was too late. They heard the explosion. It took them a little bit to figure out what happened. They thought like a water channel ruptured or something. It is the only nuclear disaster, nuclear react like power plant disaster where it has exploded. Every other time it's been a meltdown. So
Yeah.
the actual core itself exploded and it scattered shit everywhere,
Yeah, because they
which is why one
accelerated
of the
it so
reasons.
fucking poorly, dude. Like they
Yeah,
handled the whole situation poorly.
yeah. So it and then all the stuff melted down, and it was actually going to explode a second time. It was going to melt down and then explode again because it hadn't melt down yet. It just exploded, and you saw like we all know how bad that was. People had to go in, and I believe it was like these water valves they had to either open or close or something, but they had to swim it through radioactive water in these like lead scuba gear, so that, or not even, it was Russia didn't even give them that. Somehow, I believe they survived. They had some health defects, obviously, but they went in with the mindset of we will probably come out of this and then die in a couple weeks. Went in, opened up the or closed, I don't remember, the water channels, and then left again. And them doing that prevented a secondary explosion, which would have rendered like a third of the continent of Europe uninhabitable even to this day, I believe. So that was like, they were the brave men sacrificing themselves, and luckily they all survived. I was very happy to hear that.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it really was for the greater good of
Yeah,
humanity if it was going to be that bad when it exploded.
yeah. But we got off on a little tangent. What I was getting at is AI, we need to not put as much energy and effort and resources into it as we are. The pollution of it is also bad, like all the servers they need to keep it running.
Dude,
It's
and RAM,
horrible.
dude, they're driving the RAM
And
prices out
RAM,
of the
yeah,
fucking roof
like
right
it's
now.
messing with the economy and stuff. So we need to move that towards other stuff. Nuclear energy would be cool. If we could figure out fusion, we'd be perfect. Like we would be like that is energy that doesn't create any waste and it's safe. So that would be perfect. But right now we have fission reactors.
Yeah. And I'm like doing a paper. I just started a paper on AI, and it has more problems than just like making the generations more stupid. It's also like the deep fake, being able to deep fake people, and stuff. A lot of people have been getting scammed by like AI voices sounding like their family calling them.
Yeah.
That actually happened to my aunt, by the way. She got a call that like sounded like one of our family members, and she literally called me to make sure I was okay because I was like, she got like an AI call or something. It was crazy. And
Yeah, it's real strange.
also it's taking jobs like coding jobs. It's going to be taking over the coding industry soon. Yeah, it takes jobs, and then also they're trying to make it like this is what I learned in my first management class. They're trying to make make AI just be able to manage a business, but I'm telling you right now, that is not going to work because
Not for
AI is
far.
missing a major piece of management, and that's also one of the most important pieces of management, and that's human resources. Because AI doesn't have
Yeah.
emotions for people, so it'll only care about the quota and like getting things done. It won't care about like personal things that happen to people and like because we're humans, shit happens, but AI doesn't fucking care. It does not have any emotions. It doesn't have any human
But imagine if it
sympathy or
did.
anything.
What if people gave it human emotion with the intent, like figured out how to give AI human emotion
There's still
with
too many
the
like specific
intent?
situations that happen in business
Yeah.
that AI wouldn't be able to figure
No,
out.
I'm no, I'm not
Because
saying
you
it
can
would
try to
be,
make it
even if we did give
simulate.
it emotions. But what I'm getting at is, what if we did get it to simulate emotions? Where would that get us with it evolving on its own?
It could. I don't think it can evolve on its own. I think it's always just from like what people put into it. Because
So
AI
that's
can't figure. I don't think AI can figure out anything new. It always just knows what it has in the database. I don't think it can figure out anything new.
and that's what it is right now. So, but that's where the fear goes, is when it starts to be able to do it on its own. Because if it ever starts to be able to, that is when we will notice a dramatic shift in its behavior, and if it has motives when it develops these thoughts. So
You think
that's
you
where it
think
gets
AI can
dangerous.
develop its own thoughts, like its own
No, right now it absolutely
have its own
cannot. But
self-worth?
at some point, like the famous short story, "I have no mouth and I must scream,"
Yeah.
that was because it was a computer used for warfare and analytics, and it ended up evolving and being able to have emotion and stuff, and think for itself and adapt on its own, and it ended up taking over the entire planet.
I don't know. I hope it never does. Like it might be like a Detroit Become Human situation if you've ever played that game. It'd
I
be pretty
I don't know
weird.
if I own it yet. I feel like I saw it on sale and bought it. I have been planning to play it for a very long time, but I
It's one
just
of my
haven't gotten
favorite
around to
games.
it.
It's a great game and it's looking more like reality now because of fucking AI. That game was made before AI even was a thing, but yeah.
I always love seeing different media and how it's like how it ends up being significant, or like even when it's not significant in its time as much, or relative, or I should say relevant. Like even if it's not as relevant in its time to what's actually going on, I think it's really cool how fiction can either predict or uh, like paint like a picture of what might happen in the future or is happening. And I've seen that a lot with there's this Star Wars show called Andor, which is a very it's regarded as one of, if not the best Star Wars projects to come out. And
It
I
is my
agree.
favorite
I will,
Star
yeah,
Wars property thing ever. Like
yeah.
at
So
least
I
shows
always
wise,
love
it's my favorite show
Revenge of the
ever
Sith.
from Star Wars. So
Yeah,
it's great.
absolutely. Like Clone Wars will always have that emotional thing in my heart because I grew up with Clone Wars. That's what I watched as a kid primarily. And then when the seventh season got canceled, there was a like hiatus where it was just done. And then they made the seventh season. They got the like Disney gave them the okay, and they made a seventh season, and it was a much more mature season. So like I grew up on Star Wars, and the Clone Wars, and there was a lot of silly stuff in the Clone Wars, and the shift into the seventh season and how like just how everything it like you can watch it while watching Revenge of the Sith, and they line up perfectly with some events, and it goes to Order 66 and all the dark stuff. So like that'll always have a really big place in my heart. But I would say that Andor is my favorite Star Wars project, at least Disney Star Wars.
Oh, for
And I
sure.
know that's not saying much because Disney Star Wars has been pretty rough, but like Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2 were pretty great. So, but Andor is it's so important because it's really relevant to what's going on in the United States right now. So, a couple months ago, we had uh, armed military personnel being deployed into the state of California against peaceful, unarmed protesters,
What were they
and that's kind
protesting?
of shown. Uh, I I don't. I think it was like one of the No Kings protests or something. I don't remember, but
Oh,
it was like against the Trump administration.
okay.
So Andor is like a very adult, like it is a very mature. It is directed
It's
for
very, yeah, it's
adults
a
Star
very
Wars
dark
show.
theme
Yeah.
for Star
So
Wars, and I really
Star
like
Wars when
that
we
they explored that.
Yeah, so
So,
when we watch Star Wars, we're watching it from usually from like the main characters' perspectives, where all of the people are going on, like or where all the people have all the shit going on. So like Luke and Anakin, they're like the main characters of the entire franchise. So
and
we get to
Ray,
see an Andor.
Ray
Don't talk
Skywalker,
about her. No, don't call her that. Don't call her that.
Ray
Um,
Skywalker.
but Andor is from a different perspective we've never gotten before, where it's not the main characters. We're seeing from a planetary perspective of everyday civilians what it's like with the Empire as a like a fascist dictatorship taking over ga- like the galaxy and suppressing
It
people
was
and
the early Empire too, like when they were just like getting into the
yeah.
swing
So
of
it got
things.
that's the other important part is
Like they started
we
slowly.
yeah, we got to see how like politically how they got to take control, and it's really almost frightening with everything going on in the United States currently, because a lot of it is similar. So like with in the season 2 of Andor, it there's an episode where there's like this arc. The Empire shows up on this planet and they're like, "Yo, we're coming. We're just stopping by, grabbing some resources and going. We're gonna be peaceful." And people are already upset and they're like, "No, you shouldn't be here. But if that's all you're doing, just take it and go. And we want nothing to do with you."
Didn't they just
Well, they start
slaughter
making it
everyone there?
exactly. So they made it seem like they were gonna leave, but then they made it more evident that there was no plans to leave. They started building a fortress with like weapons and stuff, and the people started peacefully protesting, and there was like this huge like unarmed protesters. They just all gathered and they were protesting the Empire's stay and saying you need to pack up and leave, just like what people in California were doing with the No Kings protests, just like what's going on right now with Minnesota and getting ICE out of the armed, not even uh like I don't even know, but armed people with no jurisdiction and no laws against them in the streets against protesters who are peaceful. So it's the same thing. They're protesting, saying, "You need to pack up and leave, Empire. Just get out of here. We don't want anything to do with you. This is wrong." The Empire puts up barricades and armed troops on the front lines. What are you doing?
I didn't know if you could see me or not.
Barely. I could just barely see it.
Yeah, I was making
But
a
yeah,
goofy face. That was like
you
the
made,
Empire,
you made a
dude.
couple of
That's
those.
like how they looked.
That's how the Empire
Because they were
looked.
mad. Yeah.
But yeah, but they ended up putting our military personnel, and they orchestrated it to make it look like other people that the peaceful protesters followed or fired first.
Oh, they fired
They
first.
had a they had a
Literally,
sniper in the
one of
background
the
snipe one of their
stormtroopers
own
shot
troops.
uh,
Yep,
like one of
they
their
had a
own
sniper
first.
in a tower snipe one of their own troops to make it look like they could, to make it look like the other side fired first, so they could commit
Yeah.
genocide.
It's like when Trump
And
got shot in the ear, dude. Remember that?
that whole yeah,
Yeah, you think that was
that
like
was
one of their
different.
own guys. I personally don't. think that, but
Well, I don't. That's not what I'm not saying. It was one of his own guys, or that wasn't my point. It was somebody who voted Trump. But yeah, there was other stuff, and I won't get too deep into it just because of the platform and everything. And but yeah, so I've never felt like fear while watching Star Wars until that episode, because then you're seeing like people get slaughtered. You're seeing like people get gunned down, ran over. You're in the like it's filmed so it looks like you are one of the people there. So it's
yeah, I
crazy
thought
to see
those
that.
droids were scary. Those black droids were
Yeah, they
pretty
made the
scary.
KX droids even more so people like yeah, those things were terrifying too. Like enough force to like kick a car over, like well, not kick a car over, like kick
They were
it into a
basically
building.
unstoppable too at that when
Yeah,
they first were
and they were
introduced.
bulletproof and whatnot. And so yeah, that was that I've never felt fear while watching Star Wars until that moment, and that's literally pretty much what's going on with Minnesota and ice right now, and what I feel Trump is trying to do with he's trying to provoke them to make he right now he wants so they've been successfully get like ruling in courts and stuff, which has real no effect with Trump. He checks and balances only work because we think they work, and he's just ignoring them. But um, they've made like deals, and some of ICE has been leaving the country, or sorry, not country, leaving the state of Minnesota. But what he wants is for the protesters of Minnesota to get violent. He wants them to fire back so he can declare the National Guard and martial law, so that or martial law, so that he can put these people in the streets everywhere and control everything.
I
And
wouldn't be
which is
surprised. Yeah,
literally
if they
it's torture, and
retaliate,
that's exactly what he
he'll have an
wants.
excuse to send the National Guard. So I wouldn't be
Yeah, which
surprised
is
if that's
why
what happens.
it's so important to keep. Like I was at a protest a couple weeks ago. Me, my mom, and a couple of her like close friends and coworkers started a protest, and we got a bunch of people to join, and it was peaceful. And obviously, it's small town Tawas. We're not gonna like it's not like ISIS running rampant, but it is so important to be peaceful and to try and get the right people on board and convince the right people that this is like show everybody how wrong what they're doing is, and have the right people with the right power start a change, because we can't do it
Speaking
ourselves. Like
speaking of protests, I saw someone protesting at the college the other day. He had
yeah,
his notebook up that said like hate isn't great. Then it had like ice on it with a cross mark and he was playing some music.
yeah, so
Pretty
that's
cool.
like the perfect way to do it, and I have mad respect for him, because
He was alone
that
too,
takes a
yeah.
lot. Like yeah, exactly, he was alone. He wasn't like he didn't have a group. He was doing it completely on his own. He had everybody looking at him, and he still did it. He had a good message. It wasn't like hostile towards people or towards like ICE or the government or anything like that. It just said ICE is bad, hate is bad. That's
Yeah.
it. And he was just vibing, listening to music, and showing people what he believed in. And that's what we need to do. And more people need to start doing that. And there was a couple like when we picked like the worst day for it. The day it worked out, the same day I watched Iron Lung. Actually, I watched it right after. But we we had signs, and it was like the coldest day of like this year. It was like
That sucks, dude.
minus 25 with the wind chill, and the wind was super harsh. It was bad, but we still got a bunch of people. I made sure to thank everybody for going. Like we were all super grateful that all people showed up
How many
even
people
during
showed
these
up?
horrible weathers. It was like come and go. Like it wasn't like a massive thing, but there was still like 10, 15 people at a time at one point, and
Did
then
any of
like
our friends show up?
no, unfortunately, the only people who were kind of willing to do it, were busy that day, and it was like that with a lot of stuff. Like it was a Friday, which is on its own a busy day. Oh, hi cannoli. So, but it
Cannoli
was
doesn't
still
like
a
ice
decent amount of
either
people.
because he's ginger.
But yeah, so that's kind of we still got some like backlash. We got like I think three middle fingers. We got two people wrong on the
Oh, really?
accelerator. Yeah, like
What's
that's
Tawas
the other
for
thing.
you?
Like, why would you? No, Talos is super red, like on its own. Like it's a really like, but I've been enjoying seeing how many people that once supported him turn on him, and there's a lot of people, and it's not just like Republicans doing it. It's also MAGA at this point turning on him with like the Epstein files coming out and stuff and everything. Like it's not looking good for him, and this is a good sign. There's still a lot of bad shit. There's still a lot of things to worry about. There's still a lot that could go very wrong. And he's talking about like making himself indefinitely president, which is horrible. But we've got all this stuff, but we got the right people turning on him. We've got his own people turning on him. Some of his administration has left, and he's just been in panic. So it's going good, and we just need to keep this up and keep like the right people doing the right things. Meanwhile, us citizens who don't have as much power just need to use what power we do have by protesting, and it's peaceful. I will never understand why, like, even if somebody like this is getting a little controversial. I am a scientist. I am pro-choice. And I know from like I will always say like they're I would say like the females they get to
I
their
heard a theory
opinions only
about
matter
that,
the most.
Spencer.
So what's that?
I heard a theory, a conspiracy theory, that the whole reason the like Trump administration wanted to ban abortion was so Epstein's Island could have more like babies to eat there
Yeah,
because they've
I
been
don't know
eating
about that.
babies there.
That seems a little far fetched, but I'm not gonna completely
I
discredit
think
it.
I think it's not true, but either way, I also do believe in choice because like one like I'm a dude, so also like I don't think I should have a decision in what a woman does with her body. But also like there's a lot of reasons abortion should be legal. Like rape shit happens all the time, like sometimes you just fucking
Exactly.
need it. And even
Exactly.
not like it is ultimately
So even with my
should be
mom,
their
like
choice.
if my
Also
mom had a
no
kid, it could be life threatening because of her health complications right now. So, like,
also
even
yeah,
more.
like it could kill
And
you.
nobody is waiting until like the end of their pregnancy and terminating a child. That has never and is not happening.
Yeah,
Like
no,
it's
that's what I was
always within
saying.
the first weeks. No, 99% of them happen within like a reasonable few week or month period.
Yeah, so the baby isn't
So,
even fucking like a thing
yeah.
yet at
So
that
that's
point.
99% of them. That 1% that's remaining is 100% of that 1% is medically necessary. Nobody is going out and like changing their mind late and being like, yeah, no, I'm going to terminate this child I'm about to have in like
Yeah,
three
that point
weeks.
is medically necessary.
Yeah. So nobody. So that's another thing that people and the controversial part is where you draw the line of it being a human or whatnot. But honestly, another reason just to back it up is the economy is so bad that and this is kind of like a something I've noticed with a lot of the pro-choice beliefs is they're the same people that believe that like like they say no handouts even though it's like tax money or whatever. So they're saying no handouts, so like just impoverished family. Imagine somebody accidentally gets pregnant in a impoverished family really, really early on in the pregnancy. If she has the baby, it's going to grow up in a horrible living situation. It's not going to have a good quality of life.
Yeah, and it likely won't
It just
become
makes
a
sense at that
a
point.
functional
Yeah.
person in society either if they grow up in an
So
environment like that.
that's kind of like a contradictory statement as they believe both like it's a human, you gotta have it, and then when you have it, fuck it, like you can't do like we are not getting any help with it.
Dude,
So
the
like
the whole orphan system is fucking shit too. So like,
yeah, like
no.
orphanages are awful. We need to fix the whole like situation with that, and it's just bad. But what I was getting at with this whole spiel is even if like I saw some people protesting for pro life, I wouldn't drive by and flip them off. Like I'm
Yeah, I
not
wouldn't
gonna.
either. I wouldn't either. That's
So that's kind of why I'm like, and we weren't. What we were protesting was not specifically against the Trump administration. It was against ICE for murdering Alex Preddy and Renee Nicole Good.
yeah,
So
and a lot of people think that's against Trump though because Trump endorses ICE. You know?
Yeah, I will publicly say like I'm not for Trump at all. But that's not the point of what we were protesting. We were protesting specifically ICE because it was unlawful and innocent people who were also citizens and legal citizens or legal immigrants.
Yeah.
They were being murdered, or like innocent people like Renee Good and Alex Preddy were being murdered who were just helping, and people who were here legally, they were
Yeah,
being
and
detained and thrown into
the
detention centers
problem
where they
is
were
too that
raped and abused.
the people who killed the ICE agents, they weren't punished at all for like just murdering those
Yeah,
people in
no.
the dead daylight.
One
So
good
that's
thing
pretty
that's come
crazy.
recently is they were both. I don't know if Alex's has. I believe it was, but I know for sure Renee's was, where they were ruled as homicides, which means we
Oh,
can start an investigation
that's
into what
good.
happened.
Yeah,
So
that's
this
good.
could, not that the courts have been able to do much right now because, like I said, Trump is just ignoring them entirely. But like Alligator Alcatraz, courts ordered that to be shut down. It wasn't, and then 2,000 people disappeared. And I don't mean disappeared as in like they can't find them. I mean every record of them existing on this planet was erased.
That's fucking
It is
crazy that shit
it
like
is
that's just
like they
happening and
never existed,
and
and
dude,
people are just fine with
the
it,
news
or
don't
they're
cover
just
that
turning a
stuff
blind eye.
because the news doesn't cover that stuff, do they?
The news can only do so much. Like we saw what happened with not the Daily Show. What was it? Was it no?
It was like one of those nightly shows that was shut down
Oh, Jimmy Kimmel.
because of
So,
their
like with
political
Jimmy Kimmel,
opinion.
it was shut down, and luckily, like enough people protested that it got back, and I really enjoy watching it and seeing what he has to say. I'm not like I don't watch it every night or whenever there's a new episode, but I'll occasionally throw it on. But yeah, so like they were taking that off. Like he there's there's only so much like news can provide that's reliable because it's not free anymore. Like free speech is definitely being taken away, and
Yeah,
it's
the news
rough,
has
and we need to
like
figure out.
they have rules too what they can share and not share. It's not always the truth, you know. It's
Yeah,
usually bent to one way or the other. It's usually not neutral either. It's usually either one political
I
side or the
saw
other.
something this guy said on TikTok, and he's a very intelligent person, and he he made a very good point. I'll credit him. His name is on TikTok. He's Joe Ever, Joever, I think.
Okay.
But he made a video, and he made a very good point that like about all MAGA is saying like all this stuff is anti-American. Like the Super Bowl halftime show was anti-American because it wasn't white. Like that's not what anti-America is. So he said that basically they're against everything that this country is built upon, and provided good examples like First Amendment freedom of speech and freedom of press and gathering. They don't like that because Antifa can get freely gather and say things as an anti-fascist organization. They are not a terrorist organization. They don't like the Second Amendment because they can arm themselves against an overly tyrannical government. And the thing that people forget about the Second Amendment is we don't have it to stop like burglars. Like, yeah, we can, I guess, but like the Doctrine's there for a reason. But we don't have the Second Amendment because we want to protect ourselves from other citizens. We have it so that stuff like this, where there's a tyrannical government taking over, so we can fight back against them. And I am not
Mhm.
advocating for violence right now. I'm just mentioning that in a situation, we have the Second Amendment to protect ourselves from an overly tyrannical government, which is what happened with Alex Preddy. So they don't like the
Well,
Second Amendment because they can
yeah, the
carry.
reason also when that amendment was made, like the only firearms were like a musket. Like they didn't
Yeah,
have in mind like a
those
fully
weren't going
automatic
anywhere.
gun and shit. Like they
Yeah,
back when that shit
that
was
were
wrote, bro,
created
like
for
they had
military
a
use
single
to kill
shot, like
people.
take 60 seconds to fucking reload that shit with a musket,
Yeah,
dude. All
aim,
right,
shoot, and
like
pray the wind doesn't throw it off course or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so they're against the Second Amendment because of like they can arm themselves overly in it or against an overly tyrannical government. They don't like the Third Amendment because people can not allow businesses like hotels can not allow ICE agents from staying. They can tell them that they can't stay. Um, they don't like the Fourth Amendment because they love it when ICE breaks into people's homes and like unlawfully searches and stuff or cars and everything. They don't like the Fifth, Sixth, or Seventh Amendment because it's all about due process in the courts. They think that Trump can't be held on trial. There was a judge that said you have to show up every like took him to court, and he was like, Mr. President, you have to show up every day in court, and if not, there will be a warrant out for your arrest. And he started throwing a tantrum like a toddler again, like he always does, and everyone, all his supporters and followers are like, what the heck, this is wrong, you can't do this. That's what we do to every citizen ever. And I know for a fact that if it was anybody but Trump, if it was any Democrat or anything like that, I don't describe myself as either. I will vote whoever will take care of me the best and provide for like my family, my education. But anyone Democratic, if any of them did that, they would be up in flames about it. Um,
It's just a
also,
bias thing. It's just a bias thing,
exactly.
like what side you're on.
And they also don't like the courts because they love it when like people are spawn camping outside of the courts and ICE and taking people away or just like arresting them with no due process and bringing them to detention centers where they're horribly abused or raped. Um, yeah, so they also don't like the Eighth Amendment because they love when ICE does cruel and unusual punishment to other people, even if they're like legal citizens or legal immigrants or now white, just standard American citizens with Renee and
Yeah.
Alex. They don't like the 10th Amendment because it says that states don't have to listen to Donald Trump. They don't like that. And I skipped because even if they came up with a counter argument for 1 through 8 and 10, it doesn't matter because the Ninth Amendment says that rights not listed in the Constitution are still human rights.
Yep.
And they're against all of that. So it's just hearing them say everything is anti-America. It's not. It's anti-fascist, and it is all for what America is.
All right. Well, we're getting at that 2 hour mark, so you got any like closing statements you want to make before we wrap this baby up?
Um, Not really. Just that I'm gonna soon. I when I was last on here, I did 2 metal screams, and that was around when I was like first kind of starting. And now
Yeah.
I've been going to like karaoke and stuff, and I've gotten a lot better and
If
shit.
you want to show them
This
off,
mic
you
will
can.
fuck it up. No, that I've done it with this mic. This mic is not a recording mic. I did order a new one, but I plan on doing content creation where I will be posting the stuff to like TikTok and whatnot.
Okay.
YouTube probably too. Um, I'm gonna. I don't have. Here might be able to pull up a picture
Spencer, if
actually.
you want a mic, I'm selling my old mic if you want that one.
Oh, I already have mine ordered. It's coming in eventually soon here, but
Okay.
I appreciate it. But yeah, it's
Yep.
just here. Let's open that. So let me share. So this is window. This. All right.
Okay.
Can you see it? So this is a drawing I made. This is of a character from the main character of my book series. So you see, he's got like the skull mask.
Hmm.
Um, I'm basically one of my like my go-to outfit when it's clean and stuff. I wear uh, I have a Punisher shirt. I have a black leather jacket. Several, but wear this like main one, and then I have like either black jeans, black cargo pants, or I have these like dark brown stained black jeans. So I'd wear all those, and I had Wyatt. I commissioned him to 3D print me a skull mask, and it fits perfectly. So I'm gonna be making a latex version of it, of making a mold and a latex version and painting it. So it'll basically just be like this,
Okay.
and and it's not to hide my face. Like I've been on here, and you guys have seen my face, um, but it's just because
Well, that's
like
pretty
I don't
cool.
want
That's pretty cool.
yeah. it's just kind of like a signature thing for when I do metal covers. I'm gonna be doing a lot of Slipknot for sure, starting out.
What do you
Um,
plan on streaming when you start streaming?
um, I I'm still good. Like I've gotten to a point where I've got good like stamina and stuff for singing and screaming, but I
You
can't
want
like
to
go long
like
enough where I could
stream
go an
yourself
hour
singing?
long. So I was thinking like I could do like some requests or stuff, or I'd also be down to do. I thought about just doing some blog stuff too. If I streamed, it would just be
Oh,
kind of what we're
blogs?
doing
That'd
right
be
here, right
cool.
now.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So I'd have this like it's
You could
not
have
even
like
a
blogged the.
persona. It's just me, and the reason I have the mask is just because it's like it's like a symbolic thing for me. I like it, and B, it's not that I don't want people to see my face. Like I said, people see my face on here. They can find me. I have my face on TikTok, where I will be posting this stuff. It's just kind of like
It's just like a
I
costume.
want people. Yeah, I just want like I don't love like in the famous industry where people are worshipped and recognized for like for their name and their face. I like I think that the mask represents to me a statement against that, and it's basically and Slipknot does has masks for similar reasons. It's just like you're able to still be yourself. You can still be true to yourself. I'm not going to be putting on an act for the audience or anything like
Hmm.
that. I'll be true to myself. But it's just kind of saying you aren't watching me for my face and who I am, or like you're not watching me for my face and my name. You're watching me for my
Who you are.
personality and because you like what I have to say or you like my content. So that's kind of
Yeah,
what I'm going
I
for.
hope the people who watch me aren't watching me for my face, you know. Hopefully it's for the content.
Oh, I yeah, I'm pretty sure, especially as
The
a
Gooner
podcast.
Gang.
I think that they're probably. I don't know. If it'll
That's
always
our
get to that
audience
point when
name.
you're famous enough.
They're called the Gooner Gang.
But yeah, I will be posting to my TikTok is public. It's uh, at it's Spitzel. As it's pronounced Spitzel. It's spelled Spitzel. I was like 7 years old when I made it. It's been a nickname of mine for since I was like 4 years old. But at ITSSPITZAL. And I'll be posting metal covers and shit there. I'll be posting blogs. I got some
Yeah.
stuff. I don't have too much posted right now, but
Do you have
I'll
any
be
of that
doing
made
that
right now? I
shortly.
can put it in the description for you if you have like any of that
Any of
stuff
what?
made already.
Like
If
my
you have the
TikTok?
TikTok made or the YouTube made
Yeah,
that
I'll
you
send
plan
it
on
to you. It's
posting
just
that.
my standard. It's just my standard TikTok. I thought about making a whole new channel for it, but I don't think
Do you
I'm
want
gonna
your
do that.
personal TikTok out there like that?
I don't post anything super personal. If I do, I would post it to like Facebook or stuff where it's more private.
Okay. Then yeah,
TikTok is
just
kind of like my for fun platform, and if I will speak my mind there. It's not like I'm not gonna, or I might like talk about my day sometime, wearing the mask and outfit and shit. But I'm not gonna I have one thing on there that is kind of personal, and it's my most recent thing. It's my Halloween costume with my mom and my
I saw
stepdad.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll link
so
that. I'll link that in the description then if you want the
well,
TikTok.
greatly
Just send me it.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Just send me it and I'll link it in there when I get this up.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what I plan on doing, and I've definitely improved since last time. Uh, your mic kind of split with the false chord scream I did, and then um, fry scream I'm the best at, which is like I like covering Ice Nine Kills especially because they do a mix. They like doing layers where they take a high pitched scream and a low pitched scream and they put them on top of each other, and it makes this really cool effect. And I've been
Yeah.
doing that. I have 4 hours between my classes on Thursday, and I'm stuck in Saginaw, 70 miles away from my house. So like today, I was doing a cover of, or I started doing a cover of "Merry Axmas" by Ice Nine Kills. It's a awesome Christmas song about like heavy metal, death metal Christmas song about Santa being a serial killer for anybody who doesn't believe in him and naughty children and whatnot. But
Hmm.
great song. So yeah,
That's
I'll be
cool.
posting stuff like that. And if you want to check it out, go for it. Any of you. If not, that's totally fine too.
You guys check them
But
out. It's some cool stuff on there.
that's
But yeah,
about all I
guys.
got for now.
Yeah, that's the Hooligans podcast. Hopefully you liked it. We got Spencer on here again. And yeah, Gunner Gang, peace out.
See ya.
for listening to the Hooligans Podcast.
If you enjoyed the podcast, please consider giving us a 5-star rating.
Leave a comment so we can hear your thoughts.
If you'd like to help the podcast, spread the word, recommend us to your friends.
Gooner Gang,
Stand up.